in stores Saturday. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Every sandwich has bread, every burger has a bun, but these warm, golden, smooth steam buns, these are special, reserved for the very best. The Filet-O-Fish. And you can have them too.
And you can have it all at 2 for $6, like a Filet-O-Fish, Big Mac, 10-piece McNuggets, or large fries. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Life can be unpredictable at times, but you shouldn't have to suffer the consequences of someone else's negligence. If you've been in an accident or work-related injury and it's not your fault, you need a lawyer who knows how to get you the fair and just compensation. At Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott, our team of personal injury lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Bruce Newman is responsible for the content of this ad.
Ben, this is Dale for Northeast.
1 minute.
Talk a lot about how treating low testosterone can improve your sleep, your workouts, your energy levels, and more. But today I want to talk about your sex drive, because low testosterone can have a significant impact on your desire for intimacy. It can even be a factor in erectile dysfunction. And if you're in a relationship or wanting to be in a relationship, a low sex drive could really be a problem. The good news is that if you're like most guys, treating your low T could really change the way you feel about sex, giving you back that flame and desire that is so important when you love someone. So if you're feeling sluggish and tired, if you're not sleeping well, if your workouts aren't that great, and most of all, if your sex drive is more like a putt, make an appointment at Northeast Men's Health and have your testosterone levels checked. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have
Here we go.
Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Well, it's about to be a crazy day today. Liberals are going to lose their mind as the executive order to dismantle the Department of Education happens in about an hour from this moment. And I see a lot of people screaming and hollering about the dismantling of the Department of Education for reasons I can't seem to understand. I can't put my finger on any reason. I hear a lot of people moaning about it, screeching, if you will. People are directly or indirectly in my family, they're destroying the Department of Education. And then I ask, and what exactly does the Department of Education do? Silence, utter silence. In fact, people won't return my text. Yeah. By the way, yes, you're upset about the Department of Education. What do they do that you're so upset about? What do you think is gonna end that you're so concerned about? Silence. They know that they're upset. I know why they're upset. They don't know, but I know. It's just Trump. That's all it is. And I'm sick of having to say it over and over again. It's just Trump. But that's something that they can find every day. They need another reason to hate him. They wake up every morning, they're thinking about him, they're thinking about Elon Musk. It is all they do. Why? Because they have nothing else to do with themselves. Nothing. Being miserable is who they are. And I'm going to tell a personal story here. You know, my wife used to say to me back in the early days of my sobriety, she said, if you spot it, you got it. And I've been very mindful of that. You have to, in order for you to understand people like this, you must find it within yourself. And I talked about this back in my drinking days. I was an angry, very curmudgeon, bitter, petty, disgusted individual. I approached every day with a flamethrower because I thought life was peeking around the corner to attack me and beat me up. The world was my enemy. And it didn't have to do anything, just being alive, being in existence was an affront to my reality. Being alive meant that the world was, there's a war going on outside every day, and I was looking for something for me to hate about it because I could find no joy. There must be something adversarial out there. The world is a mess. People are mean. People don't care about each other. So why should I? The bad guys, the evildoers, they get away with murder. Therefore, giving me the right to be angry about it and be angry at those people and never give anybody any sort of grace. I'm so angry, I just need someone to take it out on. Well, now they have their mark. They have their mark. Donald Trump, Elon Musk. Being angry at those two guys gives them purpose. They don't have to deal with their own shortcomings. They don't have to look at themselves. As we like to say, we don't have to do a fourth step. None of these people reflect on themselves. What is it about me that's making me so angry about them? What am I in fear of? You have to be introspective, but these people can't. They need anger in order to sustain themselves. They think this stuff works. And if you pay attention to their anger, you won't pay attention to them. Do you see what I'm angry about? I'm doing this because this person is bad. I'm doing this because that person is bad. When given the opportunity to actually do good, they ignore it. Think about all of those people standing out in the street. Chris Murphy, Ned Lamont, Dick Blumenthal, anybody, DeLauro, any one of them. See them outside. Indivisible, all of those activist groups, look at all of them outside screaming and hollering about how they need to save the jobs of faceless people, nameless people they don't know in Washington. They're so concerned about veterans they never meet, the ones they never even think about, who are on the street homeless. But I have a story right here. 28 people who work for a manufacturing firm in Connecticut are about to lose their jobs. Right in Connecticut. Why can't they save their jobs? Nameless, faceless people in the government. They don't know what they do. They don't know whether or not what they do is sustainable. What they do, whether or not it's actually helpful or harmful. They don't care. But here are 28 people who got bought out by a big corporation, and 28 people are out of a job. Where's the protest for them? Where are they? We brought up a story about Hartford schools and the abuse that's going on there. We know it's going on. We brought up stories about two young ladies who were spat on by students inside the Cromwell's high school. What'd they do? Nothing. They didn't even want to cover it. But all the way down in Washington, people in Connecticut are screaming and hollering about those jobs, about those lives, showing no interest in the lives that are right in front of them. And the reason why they don't care is because they're They're all full of crap. They're all a bunch of posers, pretenders, fakes, phonies. The people who work for this organization who are going to lose their jobs. Company's been around since 1857. It's got a history here in Connecticut. I found this little story. I mean, this little itty-bitty story was in, what was this, in the Hartford Courant? I hear nobody talking about it. I don't hear anybody asking about those 28 people who are going to lose their jobs. Anyone tried to interview them? And Lord knows I have. Where's the outrage? Somebody in this town could do something for these 28 people who are about to lose a paycheck. Don't these people have families? Don't these people have children? Where are the people standing in front of that large corporation? A large corporation who bought them out. Remember the millionaires and billionaires these people are screaming about? The oligarchy? People who are just throwing lives away? Where's the local attention? Nothing. They want to protect government. They hate private industries. Perfect example is what they're doing to Tesla. 125,000 people are at risk of being jobless. The stock continues to go down. More and more people are going to get fired from that company. They'll have no choice. That's not even worse. You think these people really care? Let's try this on for size. In Maryland, Maryland has a pension system. About 150,000 shares of Tesla is a part of Maryland's state retirement and pension system. How about New York City? New York City's pension fund reportedly oversees around $1.2 billion of Tesla stock. Minnesota, where Tim Walz was celebrating the stock going down, they hold 1.6 million shares of Tesla, which is a part of the Minnesota State Pension Fund. I got somebody calling here on the show last week screaming and hollering about the stock market taking a nosedive because his 401k was taking a hit. And those were the people. I remember that's what everybody cared about. The stock market's taking a hit because of Donald Trump's policies. My 401k is in effect. Well, what about these pensions? These pensions are innocent people. They're innocent lives that are going to be affected. I thought you folks were big pension folks. I thought you were big union folks. I thought you were pro-worker folks. Wasn't that the reason why you lost the last election? Because you were out of touch with working families? Well, who do you think you're affecting now? Working families. I thought you people were bar none. I thought you were second to none on people who cared about working families. I thought you were regrouping as a party to let working families know that you care about them. But you want to kill an American company's stock that affects millions of dollars. In this case, in 3 states alone, we're talking billions. Maybe perhaps you don't care. Maybe this is the reason why you keep getting exposed, because you're everywhere but nowhere. You can't get your act together because that's the problem. It's all an act. There's nothing authentic about you. I listened to Ned Lamont. I want to play this clip. Ned Lamont at this rally. You ever notice that Ned Lamont's always talking about babies, always talking about children, always talking about families? But yet, this was the guy in 2022 that was trying to grow the population of businesses in Connecticut by luring them in with abortion. Remember that? He can't say it didn't happen. We all watched it. He put a video out. Listen to him now.
Hey, Washington, can you hear us? This is Hartford shouting. We're here to fight for Medicare, here to fight for your health care. This is happening all over the country. We got to make sure Washington hears us. Hear us loud and clear. We're fighting for your rights. Look, we found out the hard way. We are all God's children.
I'm sorry, we found out the hard way that we were all God's children? How do you find that out the hard way? But apparently we are all God's children. I wonder if he thinks that about the aborted ones.
Everybody has that right to good, affordable, accessible health care for everybody.
Except for the ones that they abort. The irony here is that they call aborting a child health care.
Almost half of our kids in the state are born thanks to Medicaid.
Half of our kids are born thanks to Medicaid. The aborted ones, you could thank Planned Parenthood.
The vast majority are folks in nursing homes, thanks to Medicaid. It wouldn't be there without it. We got to stand up and fight. Are you ready to fight? Can you hear us in Washington? We're ready to fight.
I thought fighting was a bad thing. I thought the words fight were not supposed to be allowed in political speech because that was political violence, the word fight. I didn't think we were allowed to say that word. We had to tone it down. But apparently Ned Lamont has gone back to it. We need to fight now. Fight, fight, fight. Everything about these folks are phony. Nothing's real about them. You want a good example of that? Try this on for size. Remember when I told you that Chris Murphy and Chuck Schumer didn't know how to shut up? That sometimes they talk too much? Well, Chuck Schumer's so desperate for his job, he's talking way too much. I want you to hear this, especially my little friend in Hamden. A couple of weeks ago, I told you that these people were being paid. There is nothing authentic about this. This is all AstroTurf. This is all financed. None of it is real. How do I know? Never take my word for it. Take theirs.
We are mobilizing in New York. We have people going to the Republican districts and going after these Republicans who are voting for this and forcing them to either change their vote or face the consequences. This is a long, relentless fight that we fight every day. And I am confident that we will bring Trump's popularity, numbers, and strength down if we keep at it and keep at it and keep at it.
That's right. If we continue to show the illusion that people are angry by lining their pockets and putting them out on the street to protest, we will diminish Donald Trump's poll numbers and give the illusion that people do not like him. That's influencing. Remember what Hillary Clinton said, right? Information. Information affects what we think. Information affects what we say. That's what he's trying to do. This is typical of Chuck Schumer and the party. They love to extort people. Remember, they're sending Democrats out to extort Republicans and force them to change their ways. Chuck Schumer's got a history of that.
Inside the walls of this court, the Supreme Court is hearing arguments, as you know, for the first major abortion right cases since Justices Kavanaugh and Justices Gorsuch came to the bench. We know what's at stake. Over the last 3 years, women's reproductive rights have come under attack in a way we haven't seen in modern history. From Louisiana to Missouri to Texas, Republican legislatures are waging a war on women, all women.
Especially the transgender ones there, Chuck, right? Remember when they used to talk about women?
And they're taking away fundamental rights. I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
And then the American citizens went out to justices' homes and protest outside of their homes, violating the law and trying to influence judges and their decisions. All of this is AstroTurf. All of this is fake, phony, and a fraud. None of it is real. When people start talking about why aren't Democrats authentic, because that would be impossible for them. There's nothing authentic about them. Their lives have been a smear campaign. Their lives have been illusions, smoke, mirrors, lies, deceit, switcheroos, three-card Montes. They're a circus. And they have plenty of people who are willing to jump on the bandwagon with them. Although we are learning that more and more people have come out of their delusion state. Doesn't matter if they're joining the Republican Party or joining conservatives. But the hell if they're not walking away from this clown show. Remember what I told you. Never doubt me. Never doubt me. I'm ahead of the curve on this because I pay very, very close attention. I do nothing else. Trust me, my wife reminds me every day. I do nothing else but live for this. I watch these people as they move. I watch what they're angry about and why they're angry about it. And I study them every day. We're going to take a break real soon. I have probably the craziest story ever coming up. Now listen to me. If you remember a day or two ago, I talked about Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, had done an interview with the Free Press, Barry Weiss, formerly of the New York Times. And in that interview, Mike Johnson was talking about an exchange he had with former President Biden about liquid natural gas exports from his state of Louisiana across the globe, in particular to Europe. Well, folks, a story came out yesterday on Brett Baer's show that connects with that, if you watched it. But we've got the video and the audio of that, so stick around for it. It is an amazing story that breaks down what could only be the beginning of the truth behind who was working the Biden presidency, because it wasn't him. And I think we have the proof when we return. Stick around. More news, more views. And by the way, that answer is going to scare the hell out of you, because it can never, ever happen again. So like I said, more news, more views. We'll get to that very, very soon, plus your phone calls. Oh, look, Tim and Hamden's there. Maybe we'll entertain that argument when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Hey, it's Jim Costa with Cash the Ticket. It's March, so Mike Valeni and I are all over the tournament again this year. There's just nothing like betting in March. Breakdowns of every region and every game. From conference tournaments to the Final Horn, we'll have the picks and the plays on every single game. Cinderella spotlights, upset alerts, and some of that value for the last team standing. It's tourney time, so hunker down and bet the board with us. Subscribe and listen to Cash the Ticket in the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
And now, a WTIC news update.
55 degrees, cloudy at 3:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Low around 40 with some rain tonight. Tomorrow, winds gusting to 45 miles an hour, high around 50. There are about 300 measles cases nationwide, none reported in Connecticut. But the state DPH is recommending all residents verify their vaccination status and that some babies be vaccinated before the usual age of 1. This is Public Health Commissioner Dr. Manisha Jutani.
We wanted to take the opportunity to make sure people know that particularly if you are traveling outside of the country or to an area with an ongoing outbreak and you have an infant between 6 and 11 months of age, this could be an opportunity to get them vaccinated if you're going to have them travel with you.
The DPH says some adults vaccinated between 1963 and 67 might need a booster. Check with your doctor. The Justice Department due to provide a judge details on the timing of 2 flights last weekend deporting Venezuelan immigrants. The Trump administration claims those immigrants are gang members. Meantime, President Trump has called for that judge's impeachment. CBS's Scott McFarland reports.
This battle against a single judge could be a proxy for battles against other judges. This isn't happening in a vacuum. There have been 140 plus federal lawsuits filed already in the first 2 months against Trump executive orders. And if they can destabilize or diminish the impact of judges, those lawsuits could become less impactful.
President Trump will sign an executive order calling for the end of the Department of Education. Officially, only Congress can close it. Democratic senators, including Richard Blumenthal and Chris Murphy, are calling on Trump to reverse the firing of 2 Democratic federal trade commissioners. The senators call the firings illegal. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 30 points. S&P dropping 18 points. The NASDAQ is minus 85. And we check the WTIC forecast.
The low clouds will break for some sun on our Thursday afternoon. A cooler and breezy day, but still mild with the high of 55. Cloudy tonight, occasional rain will develop into a steadier rain with the low down to 40 degrees, so a damp and a raw overnight. Now on Friday, a little rain early in the morning. Otherwise, the clouds giving way to some sun. The high 51, but windy with the winds gusting past 40 miles an hour at times. Saturday, mostly cloudy, breezy, the high of 59. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
55 degrees. Get your brackets ready. Men's NCAA tournaments, early winners, Creighton, Purdue, and now Wisconsin. Mid-second half, Houston is blowing out SIU Edwardsville 64-30. The UConn men play Oklahoma tomorrow night. UConn women play Arkansas State in Stores Saturday. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or at CVS. That's newnordicusa.com.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Hartford Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, T-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store on staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Connecticut hospitals care for more than just patients. They care for our workforce, creating 245,000 jobs. They care for our economy as the largest employer in Connecticut. They care for our communities, connecting residents to health screenings, nutritious food, and stable housing. And they care for our future, making healthcare accessible, equitable, and affordable. Connecticut hospitals create real change by caring for Connecticut. Learn more at caringforct.org.
Don't wait for a breakdown to start thinking about your HVAC system. For a limited time, call the Bee and get your heating or cooling tune-up for as low as $99. A professional HVAC tune-up keeps your system running efficiently, helps prevent costly repairs, and ensures you stay covered under your manufacturer warranty. Visit callthebee.com. That's calltheletter.B.com to schedule a tune-up for as low as $99. Call the Bee, Connecticut plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical professionals. Call the Bee. We'll be there and we'll be fair.
If your air conditioner and furnace are over 10 years old, they've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776888, D1040145, D1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck. As you know, my friend Phil has been doing Awaken 180 weight loss. It is now, week 5. Phil just got back from Florida, so it's time for his newest results. Phil!
Today was the weigh-in time. I'm down 30 pounds since 5 weeks ago today. So things going great.
That is fantastic. So that's, more than 5 pounds per week. So did you get under the 300 line, Phil? And this is, I think you and I are very much the same, or when we were like, in our 20s and 30s, we were like, there's no way I'll be a 300 pounder. And then suddenly life comes at you and you're like over 300. So where are you now?
I'm down at 296. I was well over 300. I'm embarrassed to tell you how much I was. This Awaken 180 has really helped me get down below the 300 mark, and it's all systems go until hopefully I get down to 250.
Down 30 pounds in a little more than a month. There are so many Awaken 180 weight loss success stories, and they all begin with a consultation. Call 844-346-1800, online at awaken180weightloss.com.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and our own. We had to
Yes,
move out
sir.
of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance and our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
What's going on? Scallywags are in the building, in the chat room. If you'd like to join them, please go to reseontheradio.com and then friend us on Facebook, on X. You can also go to Twitch or YouTube and on Rumble. If you join us there, it always broadcasts live, unless I tell you otherwise. And you can chat there live, and I'll read your comments on there. A lot of people who are jumping in, trying to figure out exactly who is running the Biden White House. We will get to it in a second, but I'll get to the phone calls as well. Also, don't forget Thursdays, every Thursdays, one of my favorite things to do on the show, and it's also to, let's just say, rabble-rouse a little bit, because I've already received complaints from some of our African-American listeners because they don't understand Reese on the Radio yet. I am, and I say this not because like a predominant members of my audience are white. It's not because of that. It's because you don't know me. You have to understand. To a lot of people in the African-American community, they've never met a guy like Reese on the Radio before. Again, I don't say that to brag. I'm incredibly unique to a lot of people in that community. I don't know why, but I just appear to be. And do I seem to rub them the wrong way? Yes. But after they get to know me, they understand my humor and my point of view, why I think the way I do. And all you need is a week. Hang out with me for a week, I say to them. For a week. You'll get to understand what I'm talking about. And you'll realize that I engage. People send me messages all the time asking what my opinion is about certain things, and I tell them what I truly think. And they usually come around and go, okay, all right, that makes sense. So Thursdays, I do this. This is not poking the bear. It's just because it's a fact. Some people use their race as a cudgel, and I think it's nonsense. So a long time ago, I started something called Negro Nonsense. Negro Nonsense. Negro Nonsense. So 5 o'clock today, we're going to do Negro Nonsense for you. It involves Letitia James. So stay tuned for that. Let's get to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Those of you hearing it for the first time going, what the hell just happened? Oh, Tim is in Hamden. Okay, Tim, I'm assuming you've got some sort of beef with what I said in the opening monologue, so have at it. But listen, if we're going to be shouting and screaming at each other, I'm just going to hang up. Now, you know better. What's up?
Well, first off, I have an important announcement about state issues, state taxes, and everything that I think a lot of the no tolls people would be very interested to hear. But first off, can you do me a favor and quit calling me your little buddy, your boyfriend, all of these demeaning kind of
What is, wait. Hold on.
It's kind of demeaning, okay?
It's not demeaning to call you.
It's stupid, actually. It's
okay.
Ungentlemanly like.
Okay, first of all, I say it, listen, first of all, it's a term of endearment when I speak to you that way. If I had any animus towards you, Tim, do you think I'd take your phone call? Come on, man. You got to lighten up a little bit. It's a ribbing. I would do this to my friends, my good friends. Trust me, you should hear the stuff that my good friends say to me online who listen to the show. They rib me all the time.
I'm sorry.
I'm just saying that it's not that hard. It's not that tough of a thing to get ribbing from somebody who considers you a cool person. All right?
Well, okay. How about, look, dude, I'm a married man. I don't need to be your boyfriend.
Oh,
your
Jesus.
Little buddy.
It doesn't mean that you are my boyfriend, Tim. It doesn't mean that you are my boyfriend.
Let's talk about a
Yeah,
state
quick.
issue, okay?
Go on.
Quick. There is a proposal up at the General Assembly from the Transportation Committee.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for more money for the highway improvement bills and all that sort of stuff. So they want to start taxing every delivery that you're going to get to your house.
Yes, we talked about
Amazon.
We talked about this.
Have?
Yeah, of course we have. You just weren't listening. You don't listen for the 3 hours that we're on. I talked about this already earlier this week. Of course I mentioned it.
Oh, okay.
What do you think? I'm on my job, Tim. Tim, I'm on my job. That's my. You have to understand that. When I said that to you the other day, that you're not dealing with some sort of fake, wannabe hip hop star from a Hot 97 radio station who came up here and pretending to do news. Hold on, pretending to do news. The job that I do here. What are you saying? Who the sponsors? I don't know who the sponsors on the top of my head. We talked about it though. Nonetheless, we know that it is a proposal that they want to tax people who are driving. And I even mentioned so far, how about cutting the funding to illegal immigrants? And maybe they can save some people money instead of charging them by nickeling and diming them for traveling through Amazon.
I'm just talking, all right, I'm just concerned about people, especially the disabled, senior citizens, everybody else, who are relying upon these.
By the way, if you are concerned about local issues, will you take up this issue about the Connecticut manufacturer is going to be firing 28 people? locally?
I haven't heard about it. I haven't heard.
Okay, well, it's in the
particular-
Hartford Current.
That's what-
It's in the Hartford Current. A headline is Connecticut manufacturer to close corporate headquarters, lay off workers. They say some things will stay open, but this business has been open since 1857. If you care about people's jobs, get your people on board to get this to put a stop to it, or at least something to compensate
again,
these folks.
You don't tell us. For Mr. Communication, I don't know what they're making or who the company is or anything else.
I just
But that's
gave
a
you.
good-
I
that's
just
a
gave
good
you your
point,
march.
right?
I gave you your marching orders, sir. Just take them.
That's true. Yeah, I know. I'm your little boy. I'm your little honey boy here and stuff.
I think I said boyfriend,
serious,
but
and I get nothing.
if I remember
I get
correctly,
no respect.
Tim,
No
if
respect at all.
Tim, if I remember correctly, calling somebody their boyfriend is not derogatory. You said by demeaning somebody who has a boyfriend is homophobic.
It is when you do it.
You said
to
it's
me.
Oh no. So
You
now
do it
it's
to
it's
me.
demeaning when I
am
call
not
you
a
my little
willing
boyfriend.
complainer. So all right. Just get back to how bad everybody is.
No problem. I'll
how
get back to
bad
that.
Democrats,
I'll get back to that right
all
now.
that stuff.
Hey, and by
Okay,
the way,
bye-bye.
I do want to say this. If you're not a Democrat, why do you get so offended when I talk about them? That I don't understand. Let's go to James in Newington. How are you, James?
Hey, so great to hear from you, Reese. I love the topic about the idea of being a political person who happens to be black and having people so shocked that you actually have opinions that are a little different because the way you look at the world.
Yes.
Can I bring up my thoughts on that?
Sure.
In my case, I had the same situation. Like I went to Newington High School.
Mm-hmm.
We were probably at the time 97% white suburb.
Oh, wow.
And the truth of it is, the few people we did have who were black, well, one of them is still my friends. I mean, I would say that of the 8 or 10 people I thought were my white friends, it's all dropped down to 2. Right. But over time in life, what happens in life is we go through periods where we move, we change, we don't see people as much.
Right.
And the point I'm getting is people who are listening and meeting you for the first time, it's like they lived in their own country club in life.
Yes.
Whatever that was. If they grew up at Bloomfield High School, they grew up around a majority, when I was a kid, maybe a 50% minority environment and a 50% white. I wouldn't be surprised if Bloomfield now is 70 or 80% minority, like Hartford is.
Yeah.
And the old Hartford, basically, if we remember growing up as kids, the Constitution Plaza and G. Fox in Hartford was immaculate, clean. It was safe for women, grandkids. The aunts would take people down to go shopping.
Right.
And the Democrats ran it for 40 years, and now it's a dump.
Yeah.
So the problem is when you say, I disagree with the Democrat policies, in this state, the Democrats have run things for so long that even if you were a closet Republican in your beliefs, you had to join the Democratic Party to get ahead.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep. You could not do business as a construction guy without actually donating to the Democratic Party. You could not do business as a lawyer without registering as a Democrat. I don't want to go into details from my own personal family life, but I can specifically state this was the way it was. And what ended up happening in our state is it wasn't that people believed because they saw Hartford was getting worse. They remember the clean-cut Franklin Avenue that they could go shopping at Mario's Tailor Shop and go out to dinner and restaurant and come out and find their car was perfectly safe, not broken into.
James, let me intervene real quick because there was something you said I don't want to get lost on. So you said that there was a time where you couldn't do business in certain areas unless you were a registered Democrat or you aligned with the Democrat Party. Okay.
100%.
Yeah. Now 100%. I want to tell you a quick story before I let you go. So I was meeting with a family member and their mother, who is German. The family member is an in-law, but their mother came in from Germany and was sitting at the table. It was the first time I met her. She was an older woman. She's about 10, maybe 20 years older than me. She sat at the table, and as we're talking, I'm asking her about, hey, were you around, or your husband, were you guys around at the dawn or the end of, World War II? And she said, I'll never forget it. She says, well, my husband was a part of the Nazi Party. And I looked at her and I went, what? And she goes, oh, yes. Very strong German accent. And she says to me, I'll never forget it. She says, well, we were business owners. And in order for us to do business, we had to be a part of the SS. And I thought about that the minute you said that about being in the Democrat Party. That is so crazy to hear. When you tell that part, I never knew that in any town when I was growing up. But to know that that was actually happening in Connecticut shows you the parallels of those two groups.
Hey, Reese, just to finish up on your point, and that is one of the reasons why the state of Connecticut has such high prices for building roads. Every construction company that does business here and wants to do business in the highway department of the state, for the most part, must be donating to the Democrat Party, must register. Do you really think multi-million-dollar contractors in their hearts are 100% Democrat?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
But this is the state of Connecticut, and this is the rules they play by. And if you look at all the names of all the people who have gotten contracts in the years, and then you look at the Democrat state committees and the legislators, you're going to see the money lines up 100%.
Damn, that is so crazy. Thank you, James. Much appreciated, sir. Always appreciate your call, man. We got to take a break. I am going to continue to talk about this, but so stick around with that. We've got that. We've got between rounds. I don't have an announcement for between rounds, but let me just say this. I want to give a huge shout out before we go to a break to whom I'm referring to as Racquetball Ron. Ron, if you are listening, brother, I'm telling you, you're my brother from another mother. Racquetball Ron, you know who you are. I just want to tell you that without you, brother, maybe with some other people as well, but without you started the ball rolling. And if this happens, man, I'm telling you, the next peanut butter and jelly sandwich is on me. I'll tell you, without Racquetball Ron. Hopefully he'll call. Ron, if you're listening, give me a call. I want to thank you personally. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views, your phone calls, and, of course, this story about the Biden administration when we return. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
I'm elder law attorney Haley Allaire. Our greatest reward is happy clients telling us that they're very thankful for our help.
Hi, I'm Carolyn from Coventry. Recently, my 82-year-old mother had a few falls and ended up in rehab. What we thought would be temporary care became permanent following an unexpected and fast decline. When we applied for Medicaid, it was overwhelming. I didn't know where to start. I contacted attorneys, but none seemed to really know this complex process. I will be eternally grateful to a family friend who recommended Attorney Allaire and the Allaire Elder Law team. From our first meeting, they patiently answered our questions, made sure to understand Mom's situation, then guided us, providing clarity, kindness, and compassion. When we were finally granted Medicaid to cover my mom's care, I felt a huge weight off my shoulders. We had been paying for her care, and were really starting to feel the pressure. I don't know how much longer we could have done that if the Allaire Elder Law team hadn't worked their magic. We would not have gotten to this point without them.
Compassionate counsel and proven results. AllaireElderLaw.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
At Skechers, we put the S in comfort.
Wait. Skechers put the S in comfort?
Yes, comfort you have to feel to believe. Skechers, we put the S in comfort.
Let me try. Okay, I'm just stepping in and... Oh, wow. Skechers put the S in comfort.
Duh. We told you.
Find Skechers slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
We all hear the radio. Press. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com.
I hope Tim goes into the chat room. These are great.
800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Here we go.
Advocates, real solutions for real people.
It's Reese on the radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. Right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Let's get right to the phones. I jumped in too early. Ralph is in South Carolina. How we doing, buddy?
Good, Reese. I got a couple things. Your buddy Tim there talking about they passed some kind of a law that's going to cost money, and they said this is how you're going to pay for it. They should be doing that for every single thing they pass.
Everything. Exactly. And
Every
look,
single thing.
it's almost like this selective outrage, right? Because, you know, DoorDash, Amazon, these sort of delivery fees. Look, if Connecticut is known for anything, and I learned this in the Malloy era as well, if there's anything I've recognized about Connecticut, it's like there's this think tank inside the legislature that says, what can we tax that hasn't been taxed already? And I promise you, I'm surprised it hasn't been done yet. And maybe somebody could correct me, because if I missed this, I would be stunned. Maryland tried to tax the rainwater that falls on your house. Did you ever hear that story?
I remember vaguely something.
Yeah. There's something about it back in the Obama era, that there was a law that they were trying to pass where they wanted to go after the rainwater that falls on your house. So you were going to be billed for that or taxed for it if you owned a home, which of course ended up having people lose elections. But that's what we're getting there.
Right, two more things I'd like to
real quick.
Your buddy Tim and all your leftist callers, I'd like to know how far we can go into debt and leave their children and grandchildren trillions and trillions of dollars in debt before we go bankrupt. And they're paying their taxes for things they did today. And the second thing is, as far as these quote-unquote progressives burning Teslas, well, let me ask you a question, Reese.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't there a progressive insurance company that backs the far left guy named Soros?
Yeah, but you know what? That's to them that means nothing, because in his work it's always clandestine, and it's through all of these other funding groups. So it's not him showing himself; it's behind the scenes.
Right, but it's his money. And my point is, and just a point, would that mean it's okay to if somebody has progressive insurance to burn their car?
Nope.
Or an agency sells progressive insurance, you can burn their building down?
Oh, no. Then it'll be right-wing political violence right at the same time. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you, sir. God, he was really, really cutting off. That's been happening a little bit lately. We'll deal with that. Just make sure it's not us. Okay, so let me tease you on this. In the next hour, we're going to break this down. Mike Johnson, January of 2024, goes to the White House to speak with President Joe Biden to ask him about an executive order stopping the production and shipping of LNG, liquid natural gas. It turns out that there was a report about it as well. And I think the report about it may have revealed something. Not only that, on Brett Baer's show yesterday, Energy Secretary Christopher Wright was on. We'll have that audio for you as well, so stick around. I think it reveals a lot, and it's going to open the doors to a huge scandal. Mark my words. But for now, let's get a check of your weather with Jason Catarinas and your traffic with Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. How we doing, Mark? Happy Thursday.
Same to you, Reese. Thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now and you're on the southbound side of I-91, look for slow traffic from 33 down to 32. And be good ride northbound 91 Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. If you're traveling 84 eastbound, you've got delays 44 Prospect Oakwood up into the tunnel. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge in East Hartford into the area of exit 47 Sigourney. 291 through 84 okay east of the river. 2 eastbounds in good shape, Glastonbury to Marlboro. Now, if you're 9 northbound, you'll see your typical delays Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Waterbury slowing 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, some slow traffic as you move up on 18 up to the Mixmaster. New Haven right now, not too bad, just some slow traffic, 95 south, 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, the rest of our Thursday afternoon, some breaks in the clouds for some sun. It'll be cooler and breezy, but still mild with the high of 55. Cloudy tonight, occasional rain, then a steadier rain developing. Damp, raw, and chilly with the low down to 40. Now, Friday, a little rain early in the morning. Otherwise, the clouds giving way to some sun, a high of 55, but going to be windy with the winds gusting past 40 miles an hour. Then it's mostly cloudy and breezy Saturday, milder with the high up to 59. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Mystic, Hamden, Putnam. When you want local news, turn to WTIC News Talk 1080, reporting on the local stories that affect you. From Manchester to Mystic, Hartford to Hamden, and Putnam to Plymouth, one radio station has your local news and breaking news as it happens. WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen on your radio, smart speaker, and on your phone with the free Odyssey app. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
55 degrees, 4 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Low around 40 with some rain tonight. Winds gusting to 45 tomorrow, high around 50. The state DPH recommending all residents verify their measles vaccination status and that some babies get the shot.
Below the age of 1, vaccination is not routinely recommended. However, if you're traveling, this is where people can take the opportunity to vaccinate their kids, because we do know that the youngest children are some of the ones who have been most likely to actually get sick.
It's DPH Commissioner Dr. Manisha Jutani. She says parents and their doctors may want to vaccinate babies 6 to 11 months who will be traveling internationally or going to areas where there are high levels of infection. Jutani also says some adults might need a booster. Check with your doctor. There are about 300 measles cases nationwide, none in Connecticut. President Trump will sign an executive order calling for the end of the Department of Education. The administration has already slashed funding and staffing there.
Already, they've reduced the staffing at the Department of Education by about half. There are only about 4,000 people employed by the Department of Ed. Last week, 1,300 people were terminated. Another 600 or so took that fork in the road offer to basically retire early.
CBS's Natalie Brand reporting officially only Congress can close the departments. An American held by the Taliban is being released.
Atlanta airline mechanic George Glesman was in Afghanistan as a tourist when he was seized by the Taliban's intelligence services in December 2022. He's the third American to be released since January. Unlike the previous deals brokered by the Biden administration, this one reportedly did not involve a prisoner swap. The State Department says the deal was brokered by U.S. and Qatari negotiators. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
Some scary moments after floodwaters in the town of Portland wound up trapping some drivers in their cars. WTIC's Bob Brown reports.
It was touch and go for a while as first responders had to pull drivers from their cars on Wednesday after getting caught in floodwaters in Portland. Route 17 closed from Summer Street as well as Main Street and the Fairgrounds area, which typically floods this time of year along the Connecticut River. The fire department said it had to rescue several people who apparently ignored the warning signs that are posted and attempted to drive through water which is deeper than it looks. A flood warning is up through Friday. Bob Brown, WTIC 1080 News.
The Connecticut Fishing and Outdoor Show takes place this first weekend of spring at Mohegan Sun. The show's producer is Christy Gonsalves.
We will be at Mohegan Sun March 21st through the 23rd. We open at 3 p.m. on Friday, and what I am the most proud of this year is an amazing kid zone. It's about getting families and children into the outdoors. They can experience nature, fishing.
The show features demonstrations and activities geared towards outdoor enthusiasts. They include boating, fly casting, and hunting seminars. Tickets are $12 online or $15 at the door. The defending NBA champion Boston Celtics are being sold for a record $6.1 billion. The new owner will be Bill Chisholm, managing partner of the company Symphony Technology Group. He's from the Boston area. The deal requires approval from the NBA Board of Governors. More dark clouds gathering for Wall Street.
The Conference Board's leading indicator index continued to decline in February, suggesting a rough patch ahead for the U.S. economy. Consumer expectations of future business conditions turned more pessimistic, the biggest factor in the overall decline, followed by weaker manufacturing output. The board says due to substantial policy uncertainty and the notable pullback in consumer sentiment and spending since the beginning of the year, it's currently forecasting that U.S. GDP will slow to 2% growth in 2025.
CBS's Jason Brooks. On Wall Street, the Dow closing down 11 points. S&P dropped 12 points. The Nasdaq dropped 59. Sports, men's NCAA tournaments. The early winners this afternoon, Creighton, Purdue, Wisconsin, and Houston. Then at halftime, top seed Auburn leads Alabama State 41-31. UConn men play Oklahoma tomorrow night. UConn women play Arkansas State in stores on Saturday. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
1 minute.
Yes, sir.
This year, celebrate Easter at either Evergreens at the Simsbury Inn or Seasons in the Avon Old Farms Hotel. You'll enjoy a gourmet buffet featuring traditional Easter dishes, live music, and there will be appearances from the Easter Bunny. For just $79.95 per adult, you can get out of the kitchen, relax, and enjoy Easter. There are seatings at each location between 10:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. For a reservation at Evergreens, call 860-392-0309. For a reservation at Seasons, call 860-269-0240. Reservations will go fast, so call and make your reservation today.
Here we go.
Easter Sunday this year with us at either Evergreens or Seasons.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Plenty of news and plenty of views coming up. And, of course, your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Don't forget, today we also have the last but not least caller of the day, who will win a dozen bagels for a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, South Windsor, Manchester, and Vernon. And I found out, and this is fantastic, and I'm going to get those locations as well. Do you know that you can actually buy Between Rounds bagels at your local supermarket? I'll tell you some more details about that as well. They're a great sponsor of this fine station, and of course, of yours truly. And I love what they're doing. And if things work out, what they're about to do is going to be amazing. And I'm glad to be, if we get to do it, I'm really, really happy to be a part of it. I'm literally, when I heard about it and I heard there was some interest in doing it, I'm not going to lie, I kind of shed a tear. And I was a little overwhelmed because it's a great thing that Between Rounds, they're a great company and they're great people. So I love them and I love the fact that they're here. And I've always said this about people who sponsor. I've been in radio for a long time. And when people sponsor your show, the relationship cannot be transactional. You have to know who the brand is and you've got to care about them as a host. And the brand has to care about you as a host. And these guys care about me and I care about them. And I'm learning to get to know them. I want to be a family with them and them to be a family of the show. So Between Rounds, if we possibly get this done, I just want to let you know I commend you. Great idea, brilliant idea, and I'm rooting for it, as is this audience, because I know they're excited about it now that I even mentioned it. So hopefully that'll work out really soon. Let's get another check of the weather with Jason Catarinas. But first, Mark Christopher is in our BPS Traffic Center. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, 91 southbound, look for delays 33 down to 32 A and B. A little slow down in Meriden as you move 19 down to 18 in the 691 interchange. 91 northbound moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. If you are traveling westbound, 84 some slow traffic, Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound is tied up, 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 291 384, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbounds moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park up to the Aragodi Bridge. 84 westbound in Waterbury slowing 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Waterbury tight by 18. 95 southbound slowing 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey, Fritz. Hey, Michael A.
Cloudy tonight with occasional rain, followed by a steadier rain overnight. It'll be breezy and chilly with the low down to 42. Now, windy day for us on Friday. A little rain early in the morning, then the clouds give way to some sun. A high of 52, but winds gusting past 45 miles an hour means they could be locally damaging. Friday night, breezy in the evening, otherwise mainly clear. The low down to 31. It's just going to be breezy forever, it feels like. Saturday, mostly cloudy, the high of 59. Sunday, windy and cooler with sun, then increasing clouds, the high of 46. Right now, it's 45 in Waterbury, 48 in Danbury, 55 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Don't let a root canal scare you. Columbia Dental's endodontic experts provide gentle and effective root canal therapy. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
The Connecticut Fishing and Outdoor Show, March 21st through 23rd at the Mohegan Sun.
Gear up with fishing tackle, kayaks, boats, hunting outfitters, and more.
Book your next charter fishing excursion, hunting trip, or outdoor adventure.
Enjoy animal adventures.
And the new Kid Zone with the family.
Learn from fishing and hunting pros.
Discounts and details at ctfishingoutdoorshow.com.
Connecticut Fishing and Outdoor Show and Adventure. You'll never forget.
March 21st through 23rd at the Mohegan Sun.
Seems everything costs more these days. Groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I can't believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1
Thanks,
million
sir.
happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the Radio, on News Talk 1080, WTIC.
Speaking of Chris Murphy, I was just reading an article, or at least going through an article, skimming through an article by the National Review. The article is called Chuck Schumer's Rotten Week, and there's a passage in this about Chris Murphy. You may have heard Chris Murphy has been referred to as the male version of Hillary Clinton. Your humble correspondent referred to him as a Dukakis Democrat. That was said in the Hartford Courant, even though they didn't quote me as saying it. I was the one who said it. But National Review says this, a pull quote. I get it. Right now, Chris Murphy sounds like a Temu brand of Gavin Newsom. A Temu brand of Gavin Newsom. That's hilarious. Anyway, Joe Biden, President Joe Biden. Many people asked for years, I asked for years, who was running the White House? I often said that when all of these questions were being asked, never once did anyone accuse Kamala Harris of being at the helm. Not once. Didn't matter who it was. Even as the liberal media was trying to convince us that Joe Biden had all of his faculties, no one ever even said, as a caveat or as an aside, but don't worry, Kamala Harris will take the wheel. Never did. Many people assumed it was Barack Obama and his cohorts. But let me tell you what I really believe. And I think this article and the subsequent audio I'm about to play for you codifies it. I believe that the members of the cabinet were in charge of each of their departments, all being run by the chief of staff. I believe that Joe Biden didn't have the faculties to know everyone. I mean, come on. Think about the situation with the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin. When he disappeared, Joe Biden didn't even appear to care that he was nowhere to be found. There was no question by Joe Biden, hey, where's the big black guy that runs defense? Never once. What's his name? Bubba? I don't know. That guy. There was no concern while he was out of commission. In fact, we learned later that Lloyd Austin reported to John Kirby. Odd? Of course it was odd. I believe that. Why? Because of this article. In January of 2024, in fact, I'll read it from the computer. This print is so small and I'm so old. Liquefied natural gas. What to know about LNG and Biden's decision to delay gas export proposals. Again, written on January 26th of 2024. The Biden administration said Friday that it was delaying consideration of new natural gas export terminals in the United States, even as gas shipments to Europe and Asia have soared since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The decision by Joe Biden, announced as the 2024 presidential election year kicks off, aligns the Democrat president with environmentalists who fear the huge increase of exports of liquefied natural gas, or LNG, is locking in potentially catastrophic planet warming emissions, when Biden has pledged to cut climate pollution by half by 2030. Industry groups and Republicans condemned the pause as a win for Russia, while environmentalists cheered as it's a way to address climate change and counter Biden's approval of huge Willow oil project in Alaska last year. Some of the pull quotes here are interesting. What does Biden's action do? Well, according to this article by the Associated Press, who wrote this, it says the pause will allow officials to update the way the Energy Department analyzes LNG proposals to avoid export authorizations that diminish our domestic energy availability, weaken our security, or undermine our economy or the environment, the Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm said. So they were going to do a study on the effects of LNG, which is interesting. Listen closely. On the Barry Weiss show, she did an interview with Secretary of State, why am I forgetting his name now? My apologies. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, talking about LNG exports out of Louisiana, in particularly the largest in the country.
And I said, Mr. President, thanks for the moments. This is very important. I got some big national security things I need to talk to you about that I've heard and I think you know, and what do we do? But first, real quickly, Mr. President, can I ask you a question? I cannot answer this from my constituents in Louisiana. Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? I don't understand, liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? Because you understand, we just talked about Ukraine. You understand you're fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from him, And he looks at me, stunned with this, and he said, I didn't do that. And I said, Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order 3 weeks ago. And he goes, no, I didn't do that. And he's arguing with me. I said, Mr. President, respectfully, could I go out here and ask your secretary to print it out? We'll read it together. You definitely did that. And he goes, oh, you talk about natural gas. Yes, sir. He said, no, you misunderstand. He said, what I did is I signed this thing we're gonna conduct a study on the effects of LNG. I said, no, you're not, sir. You paused it. I know, I have the export terminals in my state. I talked to those people this morning. This is doing massive damage to our economy, national security. It occurred to me, Barry, he was not lying to me. He genuinely did not know what he had signed. And I walked out of that meeting.
Now, the interesting part about all of that is, again, in the Associated Press story in January of 2024, they never quote the president. They only quote Jennifer Granholm. They talk about Joe Biden, but they only talk to Jennifer Granholm. They say what his reasonings may have been. They say something about the study. And in this article, they explain that the study that they had done had found that liquid natural gas would have harmed the environment. And that was the reason why they paused it and did the study in the first place. But now something else has happened. Energy Secretary Christopher Wright enters the scene. Yesterday, he was on Special Report with Brett Baer. What did he say about this? What he had to say was interesting, because he found the study they allegedly had done to stop LNG exports.
The Biden administration also halted exports of liquid natural gas. Today, you signed this approval for a new export terminal, huge growth for LNG. I'm wondering what you see in that market as far as exporting LNG across the world.
Oh, look, the fastest growing energy source on the planet over the last 15 years is natural gas. The planet is increasingly getting powered by natural gas. And it's the second largest U.S. export after oil and oil products, and it's our fastest growing export. So it's tremendously positive for the U.S. economy. And boy, what I released earlier today was the previous administration had a report that they had produced that showed increased LNG exports would have negligible price impact on domestic gas prices and would reduce greenhouse gas emissions. They didn't like that answer. They buried the study, and then they made a new study, very carefully tailored to support their agenda, and it didn't even really support their agenda. But those days of pseudoscience and, frankly, outright deception, those are over.
Now, you think about this. Why would the administration stop liquid natural gas exports to Europe, again, while it's trying to expand NATO and support the war in Ukraine? And by stopping those exports, they mean that Europe, Germany in particular, would continue to buy its fuel from Russia. They have to. Funding, in essence, both sides of the war. Now, I have a theory. Somebody's going to say to me, nah, I don't know. But I believe this. I believe this wholeheartedly. I believe that that was the intent all along, was to exacerbate the war by funding it from both sides. Telling Europe, don't worry, continue to buy oil and gas from Russia. Russia needs that so they don't advance on Europe. Continue to fund the war for Ukraine because that's what Biden promised Ukraine. Financial backing. What did we find out about the money that was sent over there? More than half of it disappeared. That was the whole deal. More from Christopher Wright.
The Trump administration's about math, about data, and about the American people. It is a dramatic turnaround. This story is unbelievable.
So you found that study?
We found
that
the
study, and you said that they buried it because it was too good for liquid natural gas exports.
They buried the study, claimed it didn't exist. It was subpoenaed by Congress to get it, and we were able to recover this study. The study ultimately released over a year later has the exact same title, the exact same agenda. It just removed a lot of the pages and data that got the wrong conclusion. They changed some assumptions around, made up some fictitious scenarios to sort of support their agenda. But that's just shameless. Natural gas is not just our fastest growing export. When we have crises or shortages in natural gas, Pakistan shut their schools down because that's how they power their buses. India stops fertilizer production. Europe is at threat of heating and electricity prices. You can't mess with energy for political reasons. This is just critical to the American people.
And it was all done on purpose. All of it. Without the president's knowledge. Do you understand that this is the groundswell? So you had Donald Trump, right, inadvertently talking about, the little auto pen situation, which everybody poo-pooed. Ha, 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 silly story, blah, 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 blah. The auto pen issue is much more serious now. Because the president, as you heard from Mike Johnson, had no idea what he signed. That means that this was all agenda by, in essence, his underlings, who had no authority on any of this. They had a puppet in the White House. This is a violation. This is a criminal violation. Dare I say, treasonous. Because the executive, the president of the United States, it is his agenda. But if he doesn't even know what the agenda is, all of it is fraudulent. All of it. Now, again, I don't know whether or not Donald Trump wants to walk down that road. I don't know if anybody in Washington wants to walk down that road. But I'll be honest with you, it's kind of one of those things where you have to ask, where you may have to poke that bear. You may have to turn over a couple of rocks. Because I bet you, again, I believe that this may be small and silly and insignificant, you might think. But I think that this is that one little thread that you pull, which is going to dismantle the whole thing. What would you say, seriously, what would you say if you found out that those entire 4 years were run by a rogue government? Inside. I mean, a state inside of a state. I only got that because of those JFK files. But what if that is? What if what we witnessed in the last 4 years, when we were all scratching our head going, what's this guy doing? What if that was it? What if we were witnessing the deep state at work? I would go so far as to venture that this tells us, if we really think about it, why we need to take the government back, why we need to limit it as much as possible, why we need to take a complete, what do you call it, a power washer through the whole system. Get all the dirt and grime out. Plus, those things are fun. Jason says, the sad thing, Reese, is that nothing will be done. They have a D after their names. I don't know. I don't think the American people will stand for this. I don't think, remember, I'll put it to you this way, Jason, considering what you're talking about. Think about it. Many people in the country already believe that the president of the United States has no power. Well, unless, of course, Donald Trump gets in, then, of course, he is evil incarnate. But after Barack Obama's, I'll tell you a little story. After Barack Obama's tenure in the White House, after 8 years, when he didn't do anything for the communities they thought he should have done, black, gay, Hispanic, many people in the African-American community said, yeah, but he was just a puppet anyway. They installed him. He wasn't the real president. Other people were. That's often said. I know you've heard it too, right? Everybody has said, you've heard someone say it if you didn't say it yourself. You are not far removed from someone who believes that. But what if that's true? What if all of the nonsense and conspiracy theories about that thing, about a shadow government, about a rogue administration, where the guy was a complete empty vessel, and the secretaries of each department were actually running the government in their own image? Unelected bureaucrats. Imagine that. What would you say? There will be some sacrificial Dems, but most will get away. As a cynic, Brandon, you're 100% right. I agree with you 100%. But you know what? As often as I'm correct, I've been wrong before. I don't think that that's the plan. We're very early into a Trump administration. After a while, they're going to run out of things to do. They may get a whole year to really clean out the swamp. It's quite possible. They may get a whole year where idle hands go through that whole thing like with mop and glow. I promise you. We'll take your phone calls when we return. 860-522-WTIC. Jason Caterina says your weather, but first, Mark Christopher. He'll get you home with the traffic in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, buddy.
Hey, thank you very much, Reese. If you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of 91 delays 33 to 32, again bound by exit 28. Northbound 91 easy ride Cromwell up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound is tied up just after 44 Prospect Oakwood down into the Bulkley Bridge. 291, 384 okay. 2 westbound's a little slow merging with 84 west. 9 northbound, some slow traffic Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. Look out for an accident now northbound right at the end of the Parkway between exit 68N and 68W. The right lane is shut down there, delays behind that. If you're heading toward Waterbury, 84 westbound slowing 25A up to exit 23. On the westbound side of 84, eastbound 84, just a slight slowdown by exit 18 in Waterbury. And 91 in the Parkway moving well heading down in toward New Haven. I'm Mark Christopher. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A low cloud, so break for some sun on our Thursday afternoon. A cooler and breezy day, but still mild with the high of 55. Cloudy tonight, occasional rain will develop into a steadier rain with the low down to 40 degrees, so a damp and a raw overnight. Now on Friday, a little rain early in the morning. Otherwise, the clouds giving way to some sun. The high 51, but windy with the winds gusting past 40 miles an hour at times. Saturday, mostly cloudy, breezy, the high of 59. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, hosted by Dr. Anthony Alessi, Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts in their fields about the latest medical findings and call in with your medical question. Healthy Rounds is dedicated to providing accurate and timely health information and is sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Ratchford Eye Center, St. Francis Hospital, Covaris, and Yukon Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC, News Talk 1080, and WTIC.com. And now, a WTIC News Update.
55 degrees at 4:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. U.S. regulators are recalling nearly all Tesla Cybertrucks, the 8th recall of the vehicles in 1 year. The government says an exterior panel that runs along the left and right sight of the windshield can detach while driving, creating a dangerous road hazard for other drivers, increasing the risk of a crash. Moments ago, UConn coach Dan Hurley with his pregame press conference in Raleigh, North Carolina. The Huskies play Oklahoma late tomorrow night in the round of 64. Hurley's team not exactly flying under the radar.
We've been in the news a bunch. We get talked about a lot. So, yeah, I mean, we've earned an 8 seed. We're in the 8-9 game versus in an absolute dogfight with Oklahoma to try to get out of the first round here and and play for a Sweet 16 berth. So we're ready to play.
Tip off 9:25 p.m. tomorrow. The president is signing an executive order to wind down the Department of Education, something he can't officially do without Congress. But the order will expedite some work that's already been done.
The president, in signing this executive order, is going to start to essentially diminish the department, cut down on the department. We've already seen half of the workforce at the Department of Education fired.
CBS's Willie James Inman. Senator Richard Blumenthal writes, quote, President Trump's illegal destruction of the Department of Education will directly hurt the hundreds of thousands of Connecticut students who rely on federal funding for their classrooms and the many borrowers who depend on federal aid to pursue a college education. Under arrest, a former Los Angeles FBI agent.
According to federal charging documents, the FBI took one of its former agents into custody as that agent tried to leave JFK Airport for a foreign country on Monday. The former agent's name is Jonathan Bouma. He's with the agency a long time, but prosecutors say before departing in October 2023, he printed dozens of sensitive FBI records and was writing a book that included inside FBI information.
CBS's Scott McFarland reporting. On Wall Street, the Dow closed down 11 points. S&P dropped 12 points. The NASDAQ was down 59. Sports, men's NCAA tournaments. The early winners today, Creighton, Purdue, Wisconsin, and Houston. Right now with 15:44 remaining. Auburn leading Alabama State 52-36. And at halftime, McNeese surprising Clemson 31-13. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker. WTIC 1080 News.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck. As you know, my friend Phil has been doing Awaken 180 weight loss. It is now week 5. Phil just got back from Florida, so it's time for his newest results. Phil.
Today was the weigh-in time. I'm down 30 pounds since 5 weeks ago today. So things going great.
That is fantastic. So that's more than 5 pounds per week. So did you get under the 300 line, Phil? And this is, I think you and I are very much the same. Or when we were like, in our 20s and 30s, we were like, "There's no way I'll be a 300 pounder." And then suddenly life comes at you, and you're like over 300. So where are you now?
I'm down at 296. I was well over 300. I'm embarrassed to tell you how much I was. This Awaken 180 has really helped me get down below the 300 mark, and it's all systems go until hopefully I get down to 250.
Down 30 pounds in a little more than a month. There are so many Awaken 180 weight loss success stories, and they all begin with a consultation. Call 844-346-1800 online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Attention. You racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction 54, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
The Biden administration also halted exports of liquid
I'm sorry,
natural gas.
I knew that I was going to screw that up. In my head, I said, watch him ruin it.
Growth
And I should have gotten rid of that. Forgive me. Anyway, we're back. It's Reese on the Radio. I forgot that I had to do this darn thing. And, of course, I'm watching the president speak on the, on the education executive order. And that was, of course, why I am dragging my behind right now when I'm supposed to be doing the stupidest thing that I read today. So forgive me. I hope that you will. Let's do that now. No? Okay, maybe not. Okay, there you go.
Do I look that stupid? Yes, you do. Stupid as can be.
This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
You may have heard this story, and it's a ridiculous story. And earlier in the show, I talked about how sometimes people in the African-American community, I sometimes rub them the wrong way. And I tell them, please, give me a week, and you'll understand where I'm coming from. There was a report that said that Jackie Robinson's legacy or his name was somehow under threat in some way because a government website took it down because of DEI and the Trump administration. Nothing could be more ridiculous. And this is the thing that I don't understand in a lot of these communities, especially minority communities. You don't need government to celebrate your Black history heroes. You don't. Go buy a book. If Jackie Robinson is important to your legacy, go read about Jackie Robinson. You can find him anywhere. You don't need the government to tell you it's okay at all. But this dependence on the government is stupid. And a woman who I kind of liked, but apparently has let the woke mind virus get to her, Minka Kimes, is that her name? Mina Kimes, whatever her name is, from ESPN. She did this yesterday.
ESPN and others reported today that the Department of Defense, amidst an ongoing effort to purge government mentions of diversity, equity, inclusion, removed the website honoring Jackie Robinson's military service. It has since been restored, and their spokesperson, the Pentagon press secretary, said this: we do not view or highlight people such as Robinson through the prism of immutable characteristics such as race, amongst other things.
You couldn't be more smart. Jackie Robinson is much more than his race, Mina, or anybody else for that matter. Jackie Robinson is a hero because he's Jackie Robinson. He's not Joe Schmo. Immutable characteristics and all. He's much more than that. Let's get another check of the traffic and weather with Jason Catarinas and, of course, Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you're heading into downtown Hartford right now, on the ride on the westbound side of A4, slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45.
I got so caught up in watching the president.
Just after 44
totally
Prospect
forgot I was
Oakwood down
supposed
to
to
the
be here.
Bulkley. Southbound 91's a little.
That's a shame.
Again, down by exit 28 on the Hartford-Weathersfield line. Look
I'm
out for
sorry,
some
it's
slow
my
traffic.
Your duty is to the people first.
I know,
Miller
but my
Avenue up to
addiction to the
exit
news
68, and
got
indeed, we had
a
an
hold
exit
of me.
Earlier.
I
Up
tell you,
by
it's
exit
crack.
68W, so that's the delay there. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Cheshire slowing from 26 up to 23 in Waterbury, westbound side of 84. If you're heading down into New Haven, there's a slight slowdown on the Parkway southbound as you move down toward the West Rock Tunnel, and 91 southbound's in good shape, Meriden down in toward the 95 interchange. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Cloudy tonight with occasional rain and a steadier rain developing. It becomes breezy late as well. The low down to 42. Winds gusting past 45 miles an hour at times on Friday. We'll get a little rain early in the morning, then the clouds giving way to some sun, the high 52. Saturday, mostly cloudy, breezy, milder, the high of 59. It'll be cooler the second half of the weekend on Sunday. Windy as well with sun, that increasing clouds. That high of 46 will feel a bit chilly at times on Sunday. Right now, 59 in Mansfield, 44 in New London. It's 46 in New Haven and 55 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary. For a limited time, purchase high-performance double-pane windows from the Peter L. Brown Company and get an upgrade to super-efficient triple-pane glass at no additional charge. For a free estimate, please visit peterlbrown.com.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on unlimited welcome for $45 per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Hartford Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
I had the worst dream last night.
1 minute.
Gosh, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if you're changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Oh, did they catch Jesse Waters drinking from a straw? Oops. Yeah, that's funny. By the way, I don't know who does watch Jesse Waters primetime on Fox News, but I do have to say this to Jesse Waters. And I said this before. I know it's happening because their producers, they watch this show. I know they do. If you've watched Jesse Waters Primetime, if you've watched The Five, which comes up in a minute, you'll probably see it was like, wow, it's like, what? Dad, Reese was just talking about that. Trust me, there's a reason. There's a reason. If you're seeing similarities, it's like, wow, what? Jesse Waters is talking about that, and I'm positive I saw that on Reese Radio. You know, it's not birds of a feather, I promise you. I promise you, without a doubt. Hey, here's somebody I haven't talked to in a good while, talking about liquid natural gas. George is in St. Louis. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, Reese. Here's what's about to happen in the next 60 days.
Okay.
The Ukraine is going to take out all of the oil refineries and gas refineries within about 600 miles by the Neptune missile, which has a 600-mile range. So Russia is going to lose 50 to 60% of their oil and gas refineries.
Okay.
That cuts the supply to Nord Stream and probably the supply to China. As far as, so they're not going to be able to manufacture as much with their oil cut off, or at least curtailed by 50% from Russia.
You don't think that's
not all, Reese.
No, hold on. Before you get to the second thing, though, George. George, before you get to the second thing, I want to address something. Even with the limited ceasefire, you still believe that, because wouldn't that be a provocation if Ukraine were to take out oil refineries in Russia?
No, because you want to bury Russia from ever trying this stunt again. You want to cut them off at the knees. You want to bury Russia for forever trying to take their tanks across the border ever again. This is also going to happen to Iran. The United States is going to take out the oil refineries and oil and gas refineries in Iran. So guess what? Who's the next main supplier of oil and gas in the world that you know of that hasn't had their knees cut off by some form of warfare?
Besides
the United
States. I was about to say, besides the United States, I don't know of any. So you're saying
this is going to happen,
making us the primary supplier, making us the primary supplier to the world.
That's exactly right. All of this is going to happen in the next 60 days. You cannot deal with Russia as long as they have any kind of an economy, any kind of revenue coming in. That's why you're attacking the oil and gas refineries in Russia.
I don't think that's a wise. Yeah. I don't think that's a wise stance on the United States, or especially when they're trying to have a peaceful settlement in Ukraine with Russia. I hear what you're saying.
You cannot have peace. You cannot have peace with any kind of a Soviet country.
Yeah.
Look at North Korea. That's the 1950s.
Are you suggesting that we don't have peace? Are you considering that we don't have peace because North Korea is in existence? What, do we have to wipe them out?
Well, you're never going to have peace with a. You can never negotiate with a communist country whose sole purpose is to take over the world.
I hear what you're saying, but thank you, sir. I don't think that that's an issue. I don't think that's at issue. And I almost feel that's a little war hawkish in the sense of, in order for us to have a cohesive world, we have to be in concert with any. Look, Russia wanted to be a part of Western civilization, as it were, wanted to even join NATO back in the 90s under the Clinton administration. CIA told them no, they couldn't do it. And of course, forced Clinton to even pretty much take that off the table. But it doesn't have to. Look, communism being what it is, there are plenty of countries that have what Americans would consider backwards ways of life. Our biggest problem is, like the Biden administration, trying to force other countries, and through extortion, I might add, to take on Western ideals, telling people in Africa that they will not get federal funding from the United States unless they promote abortion or LGBTQ rights in their countries. We know this. Yeah, I disagree with 100% of the warmongers on the show. I couldn't agree more. It's not like we have to have a cohesive relationship with Russia. I think everyone can coexist peacefully by allowing people to have their way of life, as long as, and I believe this, if your people want to live that life, fine. Do we promote democracy across the globe? Yes. But it's not like people don't leave Russia. It's not like people don't leave Sudan. It's not like people don't leave Libya. They do all the time. It's not like people don't leave China. They do all the time. They do business here. Some stay for a while, if not forever. Russia is defending itself. U.S. war hawks in power shooting. Yes, exactly. They don't care who dies. They don't. Anyway, back to the phones. Wall Street Joe, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, hi. You hit it right on the target. who is running the government with Biden in office for 4 years.
Secretaries. I'll tell you this. I want to read this because it was something that, I'm sorry, what was her name? Tara P., one of our scallywags. She says this. She says, would make sense. The department heads in the Biden administration did what they wanted. Biden only held a few cabinet meetings. So, it wasn't like they were working on any direction of the president of the United States. He barely held any cabinet meetings to tell him what to do.
He fell asleep during cabinet meetings. It was well known.
All right.
He would doze off. His wife would nudge him, and he'd open his eyes for a few minutes and doze off again while all his cabinet members planned how the government was going to be run going forward.
Indeed.
And in exchange for that, he was allowed to continue his scam, the millions and millions of dollars from China and drug cartels. It's a pretty serious situation. And like you said, how more do people want to find out about what really happened?
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous situation. For you to bring this up, Reese, I'm a little worried about you because the people powers to be, you're saying how the Five and Jesse Waters probably, people listen to your show and get ideas from your show. That's correct. But the DNC and all the people on the bad side of things, they're paying attention to you also through Connecticut.
Oh, I know. Oh, trust me, I know.
You're figuring out too much. You probably need Secret Service protection. I don't know.
Hey, listen.
I'm not really laughing,
Oh, no. I know you're not. Listen to me. People understand. Well, maybe they don't. So let me clarify. Okay. I had a conversation about this very same thing with my wife about a year ago. And she said, have you ever concerned yourself with stuff like that? Like, does that ever bother you? And I said, I dealt with it personally in my own life, and it came directly. And this is absolute fact. Everybody knows it. The first time I ever dealt with this was from Bill Clinton himself, where Bill Clinton went to the folks over at the radio station, from the bigwigs at the corporation, and told them that if that guy talks about me one more time, and it was when I first started my career in Hartford, Connecticut, if he continues to talk about me, because we were syndicated at the time, that I want him fired. And they came and they threatened me. And they said, if you do it again, and again, I was a little shook. I was like saying, wow, it's the first real job that I have. I got a family to support. And I thought about it. And then the Washington Post did an article about his library. You can look it up. The Washington Post did an article about the Clinton library. And it was reported in the Washington Post that he was going to do a library that even included his affair with Monica Lewinsky. So I mentioned it on the air, and they came down on me again. I thought we told you not to talk about Bill Clinton in that way. And I said, it was in the Washington Post. If you want to go after anybody, go after the Washington Post. Why are you going after the Washington Post? I just read the news. Washington Post reported it. I reported it. And then it got worse when I got into Boston, and I did a documentary about a guy by the name of Peter Paul, who was a financier for the Hillary Clinton Senate campaign in New York. And in that Senate campaign, she would fleeced and very much did dirty Peter Paul, and a very famous comic book pioneer by the name of Stan Lee. And I covered that documentary on my show with Peter Paul on the show. And I was warned on my show, on the phone, hey, watch your back. I was told, watch your back. They had no fear or favor to tell me that live on the air, called me up and told me. I'll never forget that day. And I've never stopped. That's why I said that jokingly the other day. Reese On The Radio does not commit suicide. But those people don't scare me. They've done enough. They've tried enough. They tried to end my life. Not afraid of them. I'll never be afraid of them. Because the minute they get me, they'll get anybody. I'm not going for it. I'm just not. Come and get me. Just come and get me. I tell them every day, come and get me. I'm waiting. I await the hate. So I appreciate you, but nobody's scared over here. My heart does not pump Kool-Aid.
I'll start including you in my prayers because I know if anything were to happen, you might as well declare right now, I will never commit suicide in my life because you don't want to note with Hillary Clinton's handwriting on the note saying, I'm taking my life. I can't take it anymore. Just declare you would never commit suicide. Make sure of that.
That's right. Everybody knows.
One last thing.
Yeah.
One last thing. I was telling you about the imminent collapse of the NASDAQ. The stock you can invest in long term, it's not going to be like an option. It's already more than doubled this year because of the sell-off we've had recently. SQQQ, the Qs. S is for the short.
Mm-hmm.
QQQ, that's the NASDAQ.
Right.
All the major stocks averaged together, including Nvidia and all
like
those
the Dow Jones
flying stocks. Yeah, and it's trading around 36, 37 right now. It's come up from 15 just a couple months ago, and that stock could easily hit 1,000 or more if there's a massive sell-off as is anticipated, like in 2000.
Speaking of a sell-off, let me ask you your opinion on this, because this question's coming directly from my wife to you. So yesterday, or if not this morning, she bought Tesla stock. Wise or unwise at this point?
In the short term, wise.
Okay.
Because it kind of bottomed out. It's come up about 10 or 12 points from the recent sell-off. But if the vandalism, if people start dying at dealerships and this and that, there'll be another sell-off.
Right,
they call it knee-jerk reaction.
Right.
So you could have a big incident or two where people actually die at dealerships or what have you. Or
something calamitous,
or something like an attempt on Elon Musk's life, like Trump in July, something similar to that. And you would see the stock drop 40 or 50% that day, if there was a calamity involving Tesla. But absent a calamity, I think the stock will kind of come back slowly. You could probably see it back over 300 in the coming months. But it's a very dicey thing right now with what's going on. So you're really rolling the dice right now. I'm saying it's not a bad idea. It's been oversold by a lot.
Yeah, that much it did.
Happen.
But you know what? I'm looking at the number. I'm looking at the numbers now, and I'm saying to myself, you know what? That rebound, right? Nobody thought that the rebound of X was going to happen as far as like its value, right? Its evaluation plummeted after his purchase. Here we are, 2-3 years later, and it's back up above his purchasing price. So,
well, he knew what he was doing. He overpaid for it at the time.
Exactly.
He overpaid about 30%, and he knowingly overpaid for it,
right?
Because it was a moral issue with him. It was a moral issue.
But he brought it back. He brought it back because the interesting part about it, that whole thing where people saying they were getting off X, more and more people started to join a year to a year and a half after he bought it. And then it became, as many people know, I think it was Axios, the Axios head, who said that he got very angry in some TED Talk type thing, where he was angry that people were going to X for their news primarily than any other place, any other source. And all of these other internet places like The Hill and Axios and Politico were angry that people were going there. But they stayed. They could have left, but they stayed at X because they knew that's where people were getting their news. And the evaluation is back up above his purchasing price. So I see the same thing for Tesla. I kind of feel like this is a long, if not an arduous hiccup for Tesla in general, or even the stock. But you're right. I agree with you on the short term, but I think the short term is, in your case, would you say short term is about 3 months or shorter than that?
Right now, I'd say a month. It'd be short term right now.
Okay.
Things are happening fast. The dynamics are incredible every day. So, up to a month. April 2nd with the tariffs, that's going to trigger a lot of selling.
Sure.
On April 2nd. So if I were back into Tesla now and you could pull out 20 or 30 points before April 2nd, why not take a small profit and wait for April 2nd and, just go from there?
Yeah.
Either way, if everything goes straight up after April 2nd, we'll get in at a little higher price and it's going straight up for sure. But you're protecting yourself about the knee jerk on April 2nd.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing I wanted to bring out. That's the key date for investors. I would take any profits you have and wait for April 2nd to develop, April 2nd, April 3rd, when the tariffs actually go into place.
You got it.
That's a big deal. But thank you for listening to me. And
my
I would
pleasure.
Reach out to Mr. Musk. Here's a tip for you, Reese. You get people on the show that other people can't get. Right now, Mr. Musk is open to some extent to be interviewed. And if your producers could reach out to him to
We'll
get
see.
him on your radio show for 5 minutes, I think you have a shot at it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Wall Street Joe, everybody. We'll take another break and get your weather and your traffic. Jason Catarinas has got your traffic. And Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. When we come back, Negro nonsense. You don't want to miss it. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, we have an overturned motor vehicle 91 northbound between exit 32A and B and 33. Looks like the extreme left lane is blocked right now. And the car is on its roof, definitely. I see tires up in the air, so that's not good. So a rollover accident 91 northbound in Hartford looks like it's between 32 and 33, so delays behind that stay to the right. Southbound 91, you've got slow traffic 33 down to 32A and B. Again, slow traffic 27 down to 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound delays about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the downtown tunnel. 291, 384 moving well east of the river. No problems. 2 eastbound Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound Middletown slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound in Cheshire slows 26 to 25 again. 22 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound slowing by 18 in Waterbury. And if you're heading down in toward New Haven, just a little slow traffic. 95 south, 44 down to 43 in West Haven. I'm Mark Christopher. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
If you or a loved one has been the victim of medical malpractice, know that you are not alone. Call 1-800-HAYMOND and they will get you the answers and advice you deserve. Attorney John Heyman is your legal authority in medical malpractice. Call 1-800-HAYMOND.
WTIC weather.
On the rest of our Thursday afternoon, some breaks in the clouds for some sun. It'll be cooler and breezy, but still mild with the high of 55. Cloudy tonight, occasional rain, then a steadier rain developing. Damp, raw, and chilly with the low down to 40. Now, Friday, a little rain early in the morning. Otherwise, the clouds giving way to some sun, a high of 55, but going to be windy with the winds gusting past 40 miles an hour. Then it's mostly cloudy and breezy Saturday, milder with the high up to 59. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Follow WTIC News Talk 1080. Don't miss out on important updates in Connecticut. From breaking need-to-know news, weather alerts, and more. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app now. WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
54 degrees, 5 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. It would take an act of Congress to close the Department of Education, but President Trump is doing what he can to take it apart.
CBS News special report. President Trump has signed an executive order eliminating the Department of Education.
Today we take a very historic action that was 45 years in the making to begin eliminating the Federal Department of Education once and for all.
The president says some of the functions of the Department of Education will be redistributed.
The department's useful functions and such as they're in charge of them. Pell Grants, Title I funding, resources for children with disabilities and special needs will be preserved.
All part of the president's efforts to cut government spending.
My administration has initiated a reduction in force, and we're already cutting numbers that were really surprising to a lot that we were able to do it so successfully. And we've cut the number of bureaucrats in half.
CBS News special report. I'm Linda Kenyon.
The executive order facing universal condemnation from Democrats. They call it illegal. This is Connecticut Education Association President Kate Diaz.
We're going to continue to look to our boards of education for leadership, look to our state lawmakers for leadership, rely on individuals like Attorney General Tong to fight for us, to go into the spaces and make some noise. Because quite frankly, we cannot allow ourselves to devalue public education in this way.
There are about 300 measles cases nationwide, none in Connecticut, but the state DPH is recommending all residents verify their vaccination status and that some babies be vaccinated before the usual age of 1. This is Public Health Commissioner Dr. Manisha Jutani.
We wanted to take the opportunity to make sure people know that particularly if you are traveling outside of the country or to an area with an ongoing outbreak and you have an infant between 6 and 11 months of age, this could be an opportunity to get them vaccinated if you're going to have them travel with you.
DPH says some adults vaccinated between 1963 and 67 might need a booster. Check with your doctor. The Yukon men play Oklahoma tomorrow, and the NCAA's in Raleigh. In his pregame press conference, Coach Dan Hurley said two of his assistants are increasingly popular on the head coaching circuit. That's Kamani Young and Luke Murray.
You know, I'm always expecting a phone call or text message from one of them saying, hey, I've just been offered, you know, so-and-so job, and I think it's the one I want. Appreciate you. You know, they're that amazing at what they do.
Tip-off 9:25 tomorrow night. A man under arrest in East Windsor after police say he struck and killed a person on a bike. WTIC's John Silver reports.
It was around 4:30 p.m. Wednesday when police say 34-year-old Waldemar Serrano Acevedo was driving along South Main Street northbound when he hit the bicyclist traveling south in the northbound shoulder. The victim, 32-year-old Samalir Rivera Tirado, was seriously injured and transported to an area hospital where he was later pronounced dead. Police say Serrano Acevedo did remain on scene but failed subsequent field sobriety tests. He was arrested and charged with a number of violations, say police. Bond was set at $1 million. The crash remains under investigation. John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Home sales are down a little more than 1% from the same time last year.
When you have lumber costing more, aluminum, steel, all of these building materials costing more, that is going to be tough if you need to build more homes quickly.
CBS's Kelly O'Grady reporting. On Wall Street, the Dow was down 11, the S&P dropped 12 points, the NASDAQ down 59 points. Sports, men's NCAA tournaments, early winners, Creighton, Purdue, Wisconsin, and Houston. In late second half, Auburn leading Alabama State 70-51. And the surprise a lot of people are watching for their brackets, McNeese leading Clemson 45-27 mid-second half. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
New treatments for joint pain are here. You've heard about regenerative medicine. If you're wondering if you're a good candidate, answer these questions. First, does chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints keep you from doing the things you enjoy? Golfing, jogging, time with the family. Does it hurt doing the things you need to do, like getting out of bed, sleeping, working, and walking? And finally, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? If you answered yes to any of those, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Learn about exciting advancements in regenerative treatments that can give you long-lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Get your free consultation today. Call QC Kinetics. That's QC Kinetics. Here's the phone number.
Call now. 440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. QC Kinetics. 860-440-PAIN.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Okay, so I cannot do Negro nonsense now because I don't have enough time. I've got literally 2 minutes, and it's got a whole production scene. It's like, it's like going to a Broadway show. You have to go immediately into commercial, so I'm not going to be able to do it here. So we're going to do it afterwards. Nonetheless, I am going to advise you to give us a call at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842, roughly around the 5:40 break. So you could win an opportunity, possibly, by being our last but not least caller of the day. Well, you can win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe in South Windsor, Manchester, and Vernon. And I also want to say, because, of course, this is important, if you are so inclined and you do really like Between Rounds bagels, you can also pick them up at your local supermarket. I do understand. I think the Big Y has them as well. I'll have all those for you as well, which I'm really, really excited about them and what they're doing. Great company, great folks, and sponsors of the show, and I appreciate them from the bottom of my heart. So when we come back, we got Negro Nonsense. If you're watching online, you know what it's about because there's a teaser during the news break that tells you what it's about. We do know that the President of the United States has just made the announcement about the executive order to in essence, defund the Department of Education and shut it down. So there are going to be a lot of legal hurdles that happen with this, but we'll talk about that in the hour, what your thoughts on it are. What I really love to hear, and I should have made it the question of the day, what do you think, or if you do know, what does the Board of Education do? And can we do without it? If you're a person who believes that it's important that we have a federal bureaucracy of our education department, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. And we can hashtag. Don't forget, tomorrow is the airing of grievances.
The airing of grievances.
So get that in as well tomorrow. And we got plenty of stuff. Let's get another check on our roads and our weather with Jason Catarinas in weather and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, 91 northbound, we have a rollover accident now. That's up between exit 32A and B and 33. Looks like as you move up on the split, 91 northbound and 32A and B, you got to go to the left. The two right lanes on the right side of the split are blocked because of this overturned motor vehicle. Delays are approaching 29A behind that. Now, if you're on the southbound side of I-91, got slow traffic 33 down to 32A and B, and again 27 to 28. Westbound side of 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound slowing, 46 Sisson Avenue down to the Bulkley. 291, 384 okay east of the river. 2 westbound's a little tight as you merge with 84 west and East Hartford. Middletown slowing, 9 northbound. Harbor Park to the Aragodi Bridge. Southbound on 91, you've got slow traffic 19 down to 17 for the Wilbur Cross Parkway. Westbound 84 in Waterbury slowing 25A up to the Mixmaster. If you are traveling down toward New Haven, 95 southbound slowing from exit 46 down to exit 44 on the southbound side of 95. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, for tonight, periods of rain and a thunderstorm possible here as we head through the overnight, followed by a steadier rain, the low down to 42. As we head through Friday, going to be a windy day, a little rain early in the morning. The clouds will give way to some sun. Winds gusting past 40 miles an hour, or 45 miles an hour, maybe locally damaging at times. The high at 52. Saturday, still breezy in the afternoon, mostly cloudy, milder, the high up to 59. Then Sunday will be windy and cooler with sun, then increasing clouds. The high down to 46. That'll feel chilly with that breeze around. New London at 44 with the wind coming off of the water. Bridgeport, same story, 44. Danbury at 49. 50 in Bristol and 54 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
Coverage varies by plan, view contracts, and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
Seems everything costs more.
1 minute.
Groceries? And when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business?
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it. There will not be any knowledge dropped. Not in this segment.
Negro nonsense. Negro nonsense. Negro nonsense.
Negro nonsense, folks. For those of you who can't deal with it, this one has got to be the most ironic Negro nonsense I've ever heard in my life. You guys remember Letitia James, down there in New York? William Tong was hanging out with her a couple of weeks ago. I don't think he'd want to hang out with her after this story. So according to certain news outlets, they've revealed that New York Attorney General Letitia James obtained a federal government HAMP loan in 2011 to refinance her apartment building based on false unit information and a highly questionable hardship claim. In her loan documents, James claimed her multifamily apartment building at Lafayette Avenue in Brooklyn had only 4 units, even though the official certificate of occupancy indicates that there are 5 apartments. This may seem like a minor point, but James's false claims helped her obtain a 2.7% government-backed HAMP loan unavailable to landlords with more than 4 apartments in a given building. James also claimed financial hardship to qualify for the loan, despite having an income of over $126,000 in 2011. But that's not even the worst part. There seems to be a pattern of possible mortgage fraud in regard to Letitia James. New questions have now arisen about a home that Letitia James purchased with her father, Robert James. According to reports, in the spring of 1983, Letitia James was 24 and living in Brooklyn with her parents. She had graduated from Cooney's Lehman College in 1981. She would not begin law school at Howard University in Washington, D.C. until the fall of 1984. According to New York City Department of Finance records, on May 20th, 1983, Letitia James and her father, Robert, took out a real estate loan from Cadillac Funding, Ltd., for $30,300. But on that loan, it has Robert and Letitia marked as husband and wife, not father and daughter. For the record, Letitia James' mother and Robert's wife's name is Nellie. We actually have a copy of that document right here, which clearly says this mortgage is made on the 20th day of May, 1983, between Robert James and Letitia James, comma, his wife. The official document with the statement. Isn't it crazy that after all the stuff that she put Donald Trump through with talking about Mar-a-Lago and the value of said thing, that this woman would have her own real estate mishap lying deep inside of her skeleton, a closet? Isn't that rich coming from Letitia James? And no one's reporting about it? I find that odd. So when you see these people get angry at me, you can tell them. Say, why does he do that segment on his show? You mean this one?
Negro nonsense. Negro nonsense. Negro nonsense.
Because it's nonsense. That's why I do it. Oh, let's get to some of the statements inside the chat room with the scallywags. Peter says, we're talking about the Department of Education and the question of the day. This has got to be one of the best. Peter, I love this. If the Department of Education was a stock in your portfolio, would you have sold it or bought more? If the Department of Education was the manager of your baseball team, would you give them a contract extension or fire them? Great questions, both of them. Brilliant. Polly says the Board of Education plots to take away parental authority and dumb down the children. No critical thinking allowed. Interesting you should say that, Polly. In Illinois, there is a fight right now for the local government of Illinois to invade the personal privacy of homeschooling. In essence, they want bureaucracy inside homeschooling. So you're, in essence, homeschooling your kid in Illinois. Now the Board of Education in that state wants to know what you're teaching your children. And homeschooling parents are like, hell no. You guys have your track record. Now you want to bring your failing track record into my home? And the only reason why they want to do this is because more and more parents are doing exactly that, homeschooling their kids, getting them out of the public school system. Lori says it would be great for the states that run well, but I'm worried about the states like Connecticut that will just take the money and blow it on nonsense. It's a good point. That is a good point. I think that's the interesting part about the federal government, because if the federal government deals with the finances that, and giving them to the state, just like anything else, maybe you hold off on that cash. Anyway, let's get to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Tom is in Thomaston. Hello, sir.
Hey, hello.
Pretty good. What's going on?
I got to fight back on Joe the stock picker.
Okay.
Elon Musk knew he overpaid. That is not true. He tried to get out of that deal when he realized how overvalued the company said they were. But he stuck with the deal, and it worked out good for him. I'm glad.
Wait a minute. So he didn't.
That deal, if you remember.
I don't remember him wanting. I don't remember him, Tom, wanting to get out of the deal. That I'm ignorant on that part. There was a story about that
in the first week or two he did, and then Reese. The other thing, I like Joe's take on politics and stuff. Like he even admitted to you he gets stock tips from psychics.
When did he say? Wait.
I don't understand.
When did he say? I didn't hear him say that. Did I miss that?
Yes.
He did not say he gets it from psychics.
Couldn't believe he admitted radio. He came on. He was prodded by you. He admitted he gets stock information from psychics.
Okay, I'm going to have to ask him that. I must admit, I probably wasn't paying attention. You're cutting out, Tom, but I promise you I will probe him on that without a doubt.
Okay.
Thank you, buddy. Let's go to Al. Al is in Stores up by Yukon. How we doing, Al? Al? Al, are you there? Al sounds like he's bowling. That sound like bowling to you, Roland?
No.
No? Okay, all right. Just making sure. Maybe he fell asleep. Anyway, let's go to, my other good friend. White Mike is in Florida. What's going on, sir?
Oh, Jesus, man. I mean, Letitia James turning out to be corrupt. He knocked me over with a feather. Who would have thought that a black Democrat female politician would possibly have no morals and no scruples?
It seems to be a pattern. It seemed to be a pattern. We got Fannie Willis, Letitia James. We got, Tiffany Henyard. Who isn't?
Yeah. Well, dude, this is what happens when people are handed everything their entire lives and face no consequences or scrutiny. They think they can do everything.
Yeah. Biggest excuse ever.
Yeah, and I saw on your Facebook post, your recent one, you put something up about people calling for segregation.
Yes.
Like some white ladies calling for segregation.
So here's the deal. It's the woman who wrote, I think her name is Rachel something. Somebody will tell me in the chat room. But it's the woman who wrote the book White Fragility. And she's on a Zoom call with two black women.
Robin DeAngelo.
That's it. Exactly. Robin DeAngelo. And what she's saying is, in essence, she's saying that she thinks that black people need to get away from white folks. In essence, she's advocating for segregation, because that was, one of the topics that was brought up yesterday. And I said, this is nonsense.
I'm shocking myself here, but I'm going to 100% agree with Robin DeAngelo. Let's give it a try. Let's see what happens. let's set up some white cities and black cities and white governments and black governments, and let's see how it goes.
We tried this. Have you not seen Dayton, Ohio?
You already know how it
Or
goes.
Dalton, Ohio, I guess, whatever it's called.
We already know how it goes. The standard's been set. I'm all for segregated movie theaters just because black folk talk during the movie.
Now, Roland is sitting up there going, now, why do I let this guy on? Roland, do not be. I'm not going to. I'm going to tell you this. That was one of my. I had a big argument in going to see the movie Time to Kill, the Samuel L. Jackson movie. I'll never forget that. And I'm going to admit, yes, and a lot of times, sometimes that happens in a movie theater. It drives me nuts because sometimes I say to myself, "Ugh, people are going to look at us," and I think it every time.
I don't care if you are a rainbow flag wearing member of BLM. If you're sitting in a movie theater and Jamarcus, Quandavius, and Latrell walk in right before the previews, everybody says the same thing to themselves. Damn it. Everybody.
I'm letting you go. You're the worst person in the world. He is. He just is. Let's try Al again in Stores. How are you, Al? Okay, he's not there. He just wanted to hear on hold. Let's go to Lori. Hey, Lori.
Hey there, Reese. So I totally support getting rid of the Department of Education because as a former educator,
right,
I worked at a private school and I was able to write my own curriculum, which was amazing. But I noticed that when I spoke to public school colleagues, they thought the Common Core came down from the Department of Education, and it was the worst curriculum ever introduced because it just created confusion, especially when it came to math and figuring out how to do math. And it was awful. And it was created by bureaucrats who'd never taught a child in their life.
I didn't understand. Help me if you can, Lori. What was the purpose or end goal, I guess, for all intents and purposes? Was there an end goal into Common Core? Did they believe that learning should be explained and maybe kids would learn more if they had to explain their work? Because I thought that was the crux of what Common Core was, right? It was like breaking it down so the kids were not just learning, but they were understanding. Am I wrong there?
No, the primary purpose of it was that every kid in every school across the country would be learning the same thing. So if a kid moved from Arizona to Connecticut, he would be on the same level and not have missed out on anything because he would be learning the same information and doing things the same way.
That sounds like indoctrination to me through proxy.
It was more of, I mean, they were trying to the intention was to teach kids different ways to figure things out when it came to math, but it just created confusion.
Right.
And then the parents had no idea how to help the kids with their homework. So it was just stupid all the way around. And while I understand the concern of like, if it's given to Connecticut, will it likely be blown on crap? That's possible, but I'd still rather take the chance.
Did you have to deal with, in your teaching years, did you have to deal with Common Core math?
No. The Lord knows that me and math do not get along. I have friends that are math teachers, but that's about as close to math as I ever want to get. And I taught high school English, so I taught Shakespeare. So if you ever want to talk Shakespeare, I'm your Huckleberry.
You know what? Let me tell you this. I hated Shakespeare. Well, I mean, I tried really hard to do the Shakespeare thing, but once you put a thy and thou in everything, you lose me. You just do. Thou art. I'm done.
You clearly just didn't have a good teacher because I did an activity with my students called Romeo and Juliet in 5 minutes or less.
Romeo and Juliet. I'm sorry, Romeo and Juliet in 5 minutes or less?
Yeah, where they had to take all the plot points of the play, and I divided them up into teams, and they had to interpret the play in their own way with all of the major plot points, and they had to do it in 5 minutes or less, and they could film it, or they could do it as a play in front of us. They had a couple different options. So when I brought in the creative element, it made Shakespeare alive to them.
Let me tell you something. My thing is, and a couple of people are mocking me, like Fritz is mocking me, thou art. The one thing, and I'll tell you, because I'm a boy, Lori, I'm a boy. Like, I'm always going to be, my wife still says, you're just such a boy. Every time I had to take Shakespeare, in any way, in junior high school and in high school, me and all of my friends, if we had to say a thou or an art, we would pull up the most ridiculous English accent and poke fun at it. And it was what we did. See, like a woman, like a girl, you immediately mock us and say, oh boy, they're going to make fun of it. And it's what boys do. It's not for us. Shakespeare is not for the guys. It just never will be.
That's crap. And I'll tell you why. Because
real quick.
My male students were the ones that enjoyed doing that the most. They loved being able to interpret it their way. They absolutely loved it. They begged me to do it when I taught them Hamlet.
Theater guys. They're theater folk. Let's get another check of the weather with Jason Catarinas, but Mark Christopher, he's got your ride home in the BPS Traffic Center. Shakespeare guy, Mark, at all?
Cliff Notes, Shakespeare guy.
Exactly.
I had no idea what any of that stuff meant.
Yes.
I was just trying to get a grade to get pushing through school.
I'll tell you, I'll give you some Shakespeare. Thou art boring.
Yeah, thou art no comprehendo. That's what that was for me. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, Reese, it is a little complicated on the northbound side of 91. We have a rollover accident between 32A and B and 33. Now, as you approach the split at 32A and B, stay to the left. The two right lanes are blocked there with that rollover accident and delays back to exit 29A behind that. Now, if you're southbound 91, you're looking at some slow traffic from 33 down to 32A and B. Westbound 84 is tight just after 56 Governor Street up to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound slowing 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84 okay east of the river. 2 westbound's a little slow as you merge to the 84 west in East Hartford. Quiet Middletown 9 in the Irrigoti Bridge. Waterbury slightly slow 84 westbound 26 to 25 and again at the Mixmaster in Waterbury. And 95 south of New Haven a little slow 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. A low clouds, so break for some sun on our Thursday afternoon. A cooler and breezy day, but still mild with the high of 55. Cloudy tonight. Occasional rain will develop into a steadier rain with the low down to 40 degrees, so a damp and a raw overnight. Now on Friday, a little rain early in the morning. Otherwise, the clouds giving way to some sun. The high 51, but windy with the winds gusting past 40 miles an hour at times. Saturday, mostly cloudy, breezy, the high of 59. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
54 degrees at 5:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. President Trump admits it would take an act of Congress to close the Department of Education, but he's doing what he can to end it anyway.
CBS News special report. To the sound of applause, President Trump has signed an executive order to eliminate the Department of Education.
It sounds strange, doesn't it? Department of Education, we're going to eliminate it, and everybody knows it's right. And the Democrats know it's right, and I hope they're going to be voting for it because ultimately it may come before them, but everybody knows it's right.
CBS's Nancy Cordes says complete elimination of the department needs buy-in from Congress.
They recognize that it would take congressional approval to fully shut down the Department of Education. That's probably one reason that this particular executive order has taken so long to draft, because they understand that there's only so much that they can do.
Republicans plan legislation to dismantle the department while opponents are ready to file lawsuits to stop that from happening. Meanwhile, core functions like Pell Grants will be handled by other agencies. CBS News Special Report. I'm Linda Kenyon.
That move is facing universal condemnation among Democrats. They call it illegal. Attorney General William Tong says it's a reckless assault. Senator Chris Murphy says, quote, it's about making it easier to sell our public schools off to the highest bidder. The Justice Department is due to provide a judge details on the timing of 2 flights last weekend deporting Venezuelan immigrants. The Trump administration claims those immigrants are gang members. Meantime, President Trump has called for that judge's impeachment. CBS's Scott McFarland reports.
This battle against a single judge could be a proxy for battles against other judges. This isn't happening in a vacuum.
There have been 140 plus federal lawsuits filed already in the first 2 months against Trump executive orders, and if they can destabilize or diminish the impact of judges, those lawsuits could become less impactful.
The Dow closed down 11 points. S&P dropped 12 points. The Nasdaq was down 59 points. Sports, men's NCAA tournaments. Auburn beat Alabama State 83-63. McNeese leads Clemson 57-42 with about 4 minutes left. BYU leads Virginia Commonwealth by 18 early in the second half, and Gonzaga leading Georgia by 20 in the first half. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Every sandwich has bread, every burger has a bun, but these warm, golden, smooth steam buns, these are special, reserved for the very best. The Filet-O-Fish. And you can have them too.
And you can have it all at 2 for $6, like a Filet-O-Fish, Big Mac, 10-piece McNuggets, or large fries. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
If your air conditioner and furnace are over 10 years old, they've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776888, D1040145, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Prescriptions require an online care provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at HIMSS.com. Joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to HIMSS.com/joy. That's HIMSS.com/joy for your free online visit.
Hi, this is former morning personality Ray Dunaway. Happy birthday, WTIC, and I'm proud to have been part of it.
And we're back. It's Reese on the Radio, NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Almost done with the show. Don't forget, tomorrow is
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
And don't forget, you can go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. And from there, you can either type in your grievance or you can give us a call. There's a telephone number there for you to click on. Give us a call, leave a message, and we'll air that during the show tomorrow. If you can't call in during the show, we'll air it. And if you miss it, you can always go back to reeseontheradio.com and actually hear yourself being played on the air as well. Also, at the end of the show, our last but not least caller of the day will win a dozen bagels, courtesy of Between Rounds, and that's a dozen bagels a month for 6 months. Between Rounds is your bagel bakery and sandwich cafe. They are located in South Windsor, Manchester, and Vernon. And as I said, you can also purchase them at the Big Y supermarkets. And I think, I'll find out this, because I totally forgot that Connecticut has Key Food stores, and I don't know if they're still owned by the same conglomerate. But I will tell you a little background on why Key Food has any relevance. I always kind of thought, well, it's kind of a tri-state area thing, and people don't have Key Foods everywhere. But when I was a kid, when I was homeless, not that I'm trying to bring you down, but this is a high point in my life, not a low point. It was a high point during a low point. So when I was homeless, across the street from the place where I used to sleep every night was a small building. And I always tell people to look this up because I think that when you tell a story, you should paint a vision or a visual in your head. So if you are by your computer and you go and look up this address, 193-30 Jamaica Avenue in Queens, you will see a building there right at the corner. You can't miss it. It's a brick building. That is the building. It still stands there. Inside that building is where I used to sleep most nights on the second floor in that apartment building, off and on for about 3 years. and about 2 years. And across the street, if you turn the Google map around, you will see a grocery store, a supermarket right across the street, sort of catty corner from that place. And every time that I could, I would go into that supermarket and I would pack groceries as a kid. And I would make, this is about 1986, I would make in or around $35 a day packing groceries there. And that money I would use to either, to feed myself, pretty much to eat. I was starting to buy myself new clothes, when I couldn't on the weekends, I would make upwards of like $50 to $75 on a weekend. And I ended up working at that supermarket. So in that supermarket was a Key Food store. And so that name has always had a special place when I hear about it. I didn't pack groceries at the ShopRite or in any of those places, nothing against them, but I grew up with Key Food. So when I heard that Between Rounds was in the Key Food store, that was like, wow, talk about full circle. That's great. So that's just a small little story to bring up. Now, let's get another check of our weather with Jason Catarinas and our traffic with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. I know, Mark, you've never been fired for a job, but did you ever do like a tip job in any of like growing up? Did you ever do like a job that incorporated tips?
Not growing up. Yeah, no, not growing up. With the wedding, doing the weddings and private parties, you get tips from that.
I never got tips when I DJ'd.
Really? I got a $100 tip on Saturday night.
Did you?
For the wedding I did. Yeah, that was nice. That's very nice.
That's generous.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Now, did it come
really
from
nice.
a regular patron of the wedding or from one of the family members, like a deck?
The woman who was running the room that I played at, she brought an envelope over. She goes, "This is from the bride and groom."
Oh, that's sweet.
Cool.
That's sweet.
I opened it up when I got home, and it was a $100 tip. So
The
it was very nice.
last wedding I did, the dad gave me $300. That was kind of
nice.
because I was doing it for free. I was doing it as a favor.
Oh my God!
And he gave me $300. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Great. Yeah, no, that's really the only tipping job I ever really had was doing the gig. So
yeah,
it's nice when you.
I'm not gonna lie. I love tips, and now I respect anybody who works for tips. I totally respect them more than ever.
Absolutely,
because it means a lot.
Listen. You know what drives me crazy though?
What's that?
Like people are handing over like a soft drink to you or a pizza, and they want a tip. It's like, what? You want a tip? Because you handed me a box? Like if you're serving me at a restaurant and
that's
you give me great
different.
service, yeah,
That's
I'm going to give you a
different.
great tip.
Yeah.
We had an $80 lunch the other day, and we gave her a $20 tip.
Not
so
bad.
We gave her what? Yeah, we gave her like, I don't know, 20. What is that? 25%?
Yeah, just a little more.
She was fantastic. Yeah,
that's
she
a good
was
tip.
great.
That's a good
I
tip.
have no problem doing that, but if you're gonna hand me a box or a donut, you want a tip? It's like, what? I don't know. I guess I'm just.
That's
an old-
okay. No, there are
old angry
parameters.
guy.
You're right.
Yeah, I know. It's just bizarre now. Everybody wants a tip for doing nothing. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, unfortunately, a car has tipped over, and that's 91 northbound between 32A and B and 33. Now, as you approach the what did I call it? The fork in the road, you can either go right or left. You got to stay to the left there. They've shut down the two right lanes at the fork at 32A and B. Southbound 91's a little slow at 33. Westbound 84 is tied up Bulkley Bridge out to 45. 84 eastbound slowing 46 into the downtown tunnel. If you're 291 through 84, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. If you're heading into Middletown, that's quiet. Waterbury on the westbound side of 84, just a little slow, 25A up to 25, and again at the Mixmaster. New Haven 95 southbound, slowing 46 down to 44. Northbound 91, looks like we have an accident up by exit 11 in North Haven. Delays are back to exit 10 behind that on the northbound side of 91. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Cloudy tonight with occasional rain, then a steadier rain developing, the low down to 42. It'll be a windy day for us on Friday. A little rain early in the morning, then the clouds giving way to sun. Winds gusting past 45 miles an hour with the high of 52. Mostly cloudy, breezy Saturday, the high of 59. Sunday, windy and cooler with sun, then increasing clouds, the high of 46. Periods of rain as we head into next week on Monday with the high of 52. Currently, it's 45 in Waterbury, 56 in Mansfield, 52 in Meriden, 54 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or at CVS. That's newnordicusa.com.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck. As you know, my friend Phil has been doing Awaken 180 weight loss. It is now, week 5. He just got done checking in with his coach. Let's see where we are. Phil.
Today was the weigh-in time. I'm down 30 pounds since 5 weeks ago today.
Here we go. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Dreaming of a perfect smile? At Columbia Dental, our orthodontic experts specialize in braces and clear aligners like Invisalign. Get the smile you've always dreamed of. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit ColumbiaDental.com.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Is back with a wet and wild new season, and you can watch it all on MTV with Philo. With Philo, you can enjoy live TV from your favorite channels like MTV, VH1, AMC, Discovery, BET, and more. Plus, an unlimited DVR that lets you save and rewatch anything you want for up to a year. We've also got a collection of over 80,000 hit movies and shows that you can watch anytime, and the entire AMC Plus library, all for just $28 a month when you sign up at philo.tv. Enjoy Philo on your laptop, tablet, phone, or TV, and stream on up to 3 devices at once. So what are you waiting for? Dive into the splashiest extravaganza yet and start watching the new season of RuPaul's Drag Race live on MTV with Philo for an unbeatable... Start your 7-day free trial and make sure you get the best price for the TV you love. Visit philo.tv today. That's PHILO.TV.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Sometimes I get these messages that are at reasonoradio.com, and I told you that, because I do a segment like Negro Nonsense, it tends to get under people's skin. I know that it does. I get it. It's a thing. Let me, if I may, I'm going to probably say something I shouldn't reveal, okay? When you expose that you're thin-skinned, I tend to stab. Like, the smart thing to do is to never expose that you are thin-skinned. It's not just for me, just for anyone. You never, ever, I don't think that Achilles was running around saying, yeah, get me here in the ankle. I don't think he ever did that. You understand that? Like, don't do that. It's a very weird thing. I don't. People expressing their vulnerability, I know that comes from a victimhood mentality, but stop it. Stop it. The stuff that people are outraged about isn't worth it. And in the grand scheme of things, it isn't. Let me explain to you. I just got a message about what I said about the whole Jackie Robinson thing. Let me just put it to you. I'm going to say it to you the way my grandfather, Bernard, would have said it to me. My step-grandfather, but yet my grandfather. What he would have said to me, he would have said, hey, boy, you better get some thick skin. The world ain't kind. And if you mess around, it'll beat you to death. So get made of sterner stuff. That's what he told me. Sitting around here whining about things that don't matter ain't going to help you. You got to get tougher. Jackie Robinson is dead. With all due respect, he's dead. There's actual crime happening in the street with young black people on a daily basis. And they're shooting themselves, we're talking about, with things that you wouldn't find in Kandahar. They are murdering each other in the streets. Every day, young black kids. There is no outrage for that. No outrage for those dead bodies. But you're screaming and hollering about Jackie Robinson being moved from a website Dude, you got to be kidding me. When I look at people and I see them losing their minds about somebody being removed from a website, while they scroll past the murders of black kids on a regular basis and say nothing, no outrage. It makes me mad every day when I watch these kids kill each other. Every day. But I can't say anything because you won't listen, because I've got to keep beating you off with a stick because you're upset about Jackie Robinson being removed from a website. What kind of clown show is this? Focus. Focus. Jackie Robinson had a wonderful life. He had a wonderful life. He's an icon. He's a hero. You got kids dying in the street that'll never see their potential, never reach their potential, ever. You're calling a podiatrist for lung cancer, man. That's what you're doing. We've got bigger problems. If it's all about race, you've got bigger problems right in front of you. So if you're really, really all that concerned, if you're really all that concerned, get to it. Concern yourself with the real black lives that are affected every day. Jackie Robinson lived his life. His is done. Move on. Deal with things if you really, really care. If you're really worried about the black experience, you got plenty of stuff to work with. There's a whole canvas of stuff you can work on. That's all I got to say. Bugging at me about a skit called Negro Nonsense while real Negro nonsense is happening. Come on, man. I know you don't care because I know you won't care. You care about me doing a skit because that's easy. That's low-hanging fruit. Because you're scared to deal with those gangbangers in the street. You're scared to deal with those drug dealers feeding them poison. You're scared to death of them. You can go after me because why? Why? Because I'm not going to pull out a gun? Because I'm not a gangbanger? Just admit it. You got no time for those people who are dying in the streets. Because deep down, you're scared to death. I know it. You know it. We all know it. Don't you dare come for me. Ever. Put your money where your mouth is. Because I'm on these microphones every day talking about how horrible it is for these kids to live in these streets. How badly I want them to get their head out of their rear ends and actually see what's being done to them is done on purpose. And the people who claim to care about them don't care if they die. And that includes you guys out there who keep talking about who's authentically black and who's not. Seriously, don't bore me. The difference between you and I is that I'm not afraid of them. At all. But you are. And you know I know it. 860-522-WTIC. Now let's go to Bob. I'm sorry. My apologies. Rob, that's too soon. I'm going to go, let's go to Kim in Cromwell. Sorry. Hey, Kim.
Yeah, I'd just like to inject my concept on the Department of Education.
Go ahead.
First of all, I don't think there will be 60 votes to get rid of it. It could use modification.
What about, wait, hold on. Before you go any further, Kim, what if we manage that in the midterms? Like, what if we get like a stay on the execution of getting rid of Department of Education? We bring it to the midterms. We actually get rid of a couple of seats in the Senate, and we actually do get, I think maybe I'm a little lofty here, but there's a strong possibility that we could get a strong, majority in the Senate, don't you think?
Well, it would be nice to pick up the New Hampshire seat. The way I envisioned when it was set up is it really should have served more as an inventory warehouse where curriculums could be, inventory there, teaching methods, teacher training methods, evaluation methods, what manipulatives you can use in the classroom,
right.
How to design the physical plant of a school, how to deal maybe with the First Amendment issue. So another thing, things where people can go and look, see, I would like to derive another method for X. I would like to design a course in X.
Right.
Maybe I would like to look at a new way to do scheduling of the school year or the school day. One of the things we learned from Trump's first term, his secretary said, she learned, say, how we do the school year, when we do the school year, meaning starting and ending points. K through 12, maybe it should be K through 13 because of slower kids.
Yeah.
And then you've got Zoom, and you can have modules on breaks or during vacations. You should have lifelong learning opportunities. In other words, it really should serve as a warehouse, even looking at textbooks and
right,
an analysis to see what people can recommend, something like that.
But what do you think of? Let me ask you this, Kim, before I let you go, because a core part of the Department of Education is they do set the standards for curriculum. Is that not true?
Yes and no.
Okay, yeah, I know. That's a wavering kind of answer. There's a wavering answer to that.
Okay, there are some basic things like, for instance, U.S. history is always universally taught in the junior year.
Right.
However, history expands. And, now do we maybe need 2 full years? Or maybe we have to introduce maybe something for better students is you look at a more focused part of history. And these are students, what I call an intensive survey course, is less topics but more critical reasoning required.
Indeed.
For lesser students, it's just a survey course of major concepts, not the details. And I think part of this approach should be used because not everybody fits into one box.
Kim, I gotta let you. I gotta let you go, but I gotta let Kim. I gotta let you go, but let me say this: I do believe you have got to start giving some of your ideas to the folks up in Washington. I think you are chock full. You do, okay? All right, good enough.
It's very poor because in our state the Democratic reps don't represent us.
I know. I got to go because I got to get to the end of the show. But I appreciate you. I wish you wouldn't call so late, Kim. You got to call me earlier. I could talk to Kim all day about this because education is it's so big for her and she knows so much. But she's a great caller, always is. Let's go to Andrew, who's in New Britain. How we doing, Andrew?
Oh, hey, very, very good. I want to get your take on the shooting Sunday of that 8-year-old boy in New Haven, over in the hill section.
I'm sorry, but I do not know about that story, and I have no idea because I was actually reading the New Haven Register, and for some odd reason, I did not see that story. I'm sorry, Andrew.
Yeah, the point of it is, this happened Sunday. For the last, there were some sketchy reports about it, and for 2 days there's been no comment on it except, kind of a puff piece for
did they say that they know who the perpetrator is, or was it what was the situation, a drive-by or a domestic issue?
No, it happened at home. It was a number of family members, and other unnamed people were at home in the house at the time. The police were called, and there was a dead 8-year-old on the floor.
Oh wow. Okay,
nothing's been made of it.
Let me look into it. Let me look into it so we can actually get some educated information on it, or at least that I could. But not near the end of the show. But I appreciate you, Andrew. Thank you. I appreciate you. Our last but not least caller, because I'm trying to get to him, is Rob in East Hartford. How are you? Because I got to wrap it up.
All right, Reese, Harry, you want a Hamlet or omelet? Which one are we going to have today?
I'm going to have omelet, not Hamlet.
All right,
how are you, sir?
Right.
Rob is our last but not least caller of the day. He wins a dozen bagels for 6 months. It's courtesy of Between Rounds. I appreciate
it. Yeah. Now listen, I was talking about Dick Cheney wanted to get rid of the Board of Education back in '82. That's how bad the Board of Ed is. Should go right to the states. Like
Isn't
they
that
should have been,
crazy?
you know?
19. In fact,
Yeah.
I watched the speech today of Ronald Reagan. I was watching the news. Ronald Reagan giving a speech just years after its implementation by Jimmy Carter that Reagan was talking about getting rid of it. So, yeah, this is nothing new. But you know what? The truth of the bureaucracy is that once it is, it is. That's the way that Washington works. So, you know.
Right? They just bleed you dry, you know, just trickle in their pockets, not our pockets.
Indeed, sir. All right, let's put you on hold. Rob in East Hartford, he's our a bagel a month for 6 months, a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Manchester, and Vernon. And you can find them, of course, in stores. And I'll have that list for you. So if you want to check them out and show some love, they've been around for 35 years. All right, as I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the Radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you for the airing of grievances Friday. You can go to reasoontheradio.com for more information. Jason Catarinas, he has your weather, but our good friend Mark Christopher, he's going to get you home because he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, Mark.
Reese, have a great night. If you're traveling 91 northbound, we have that rollover crash in downtown Hartford. That's
all right, sir. One more day.
3.
Stop bragging about it.
You want to stay.
Yeah. Just one more day.
Yeah, finally.
So stay left there.
Anyway, all right, so I will see you mañana. Oh, that's right. You got a tournament this weekend.
Yes, I do.
Where do you have to go?
Downtown into Cromwell.
I'm going to New Jersey.
From
you going all the way to Jersey?
291, 384, okay.
Why you say all the way?
Dude, Jersey's not
quiet middle
close. It's like 2 hours, 15-minute drive.
Oh, that's not far. Oh, you go to northern Jersey.
Yeah.
What's the name of the town?
Lodi Lanes. I don't know the name of the town.
The left lane
it's probably Lodi, New Jersey.
Yeah, it's Lodi Lanes.
Yeah, is it Lodi?
Yeah.
You're going to Lodi, New Jersey.
Lodi Lanes.
It's Lodi, not Lodi. Lodi.
Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Lodi Lanes. That's funny. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. It's Lodi.
Tonight, under
I'm
cloudy
telling you, I know it
skies,
is.
occasional rain. Then
Lodi Lanes.
It's developing. It becomes breezy late as well. Damp raw and
I'm
chilly
outta
with
here.
the low down to
Lodi Lanes.
Didst thou not hear thou saith Lodi Lanes?
Clouds giving way to some sun.
Goodbye.
Winds
Get
gusting
outta
past hour means they could be locally damaging. The high.
Oh, goodness gracious. Stuck in the old Lodi again. Yeah, exactly. All right, good night, everybody. Great stuff in the chat room, man. Thank you guys for participating. That means everything to me. I'm looking over there because I'm reading your chats instead of looking at the camera. Thank you, guys. I had a wonderful day today. And hopefully we get back. I hope my outburst didn't, turn you off. I just perspective. It's important. All right, I love you guys. Y'all be good to each other.